all night if you up smash that like button. Welcome to Black and the Black Times Infinity. I'm your host, Cthulhu's Prodigy, coming to you live and direct from the stack. Smoke me out, fam, with that dank shit on my left. The oldest ninja in the world, old bitch.
Oh man, Prodigy just got denied one more bust.
All right. On my far right, engineer, and on the ones and twos, choking people out of threes.
Hey, all right, I know I'm an asshole, but it's all right. You should still like me, all right? I'm a lovable asshole.
Holy shit, old man.
I feel bad for that one, though. My bad, man.
It's all good.
It surprised me. Like, I clicked go live, and then it was like, oh, where do you want to go live to? I was like, bitch, you already know!
Oh, shit. Blue is taking care of some family issues. Stitch is in the wind, running from his parole officer, and, we're just going to make it happen.
We are going to make it
three-man crew.
Yeah. Like, we're three-man crew, not two-live crew.
Yeah, it's like Kirk in Star Trek 3 still in Enterprise with skeleton crew. We're gonna let the ship sail.
All right.
Carlos, you usually got some stats for us.
I usually do. Listener of the week would be Cartoon Gabe, which I think is also known as the animator. Previously, looks the same emblem, probably, maybe. I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. And first in the chat is my boy Jason. What's going on? Good to see you back in the chat. We appreciate you watching us on a Wednesday. I know you can't always make it, so thank you for watching right now.
Hell fucking yeah, that Jason is fam. Old Ninja, you pour out something, it's usually urban. What are you pouring out this weekend for whomst?
We're gonna go a little old school and pour out some of this old English for a real one. For Armando Anthony Correa, better known by his stage name of Chick Corea, was an American jazz composer, keyboardist, and sometimes percussionist. He was once a part of Miles Davis's band back in the 1960s. He was part of the jazz fusion era in the 70s and is considered one of the most foremost jazz pianists, depending on where you are, after John Coltrane. He was heavily influenced by Latin music and bebop. He's performed with Herbie Hancock, Bobby McFerrin, Hiromi Uhada, and Dave Weckl. He was a Scientologist, which got him barred from performing at the 1993 World Championships Athletics. Korea has been nominated for 60 Grammys, and he's won 23.
God damn.
He continued to perform and tour all the way up until his late 70s. He passed away from cancer at the age of 79.
He seems like a very accomplished artist. I'm going to ask the really disrespectful question that I don't mean to be disrespectful. Did he EGOT though?
No, he was purely a composer, musician.
Okay.
So he did. I don't know if you've ever heard some of his stuff, but he mixes a lot of Latin jazz with bebop. It doesn't sound like it works, but he was very famous for it. He's toured his entire life. He's a huge inspiration to a lot of like contemporary and what is that called? That acid jazz kind of. So
Good shit. No, I mean R.I.P. to him. I will like go back and try to listen to some of his music. It's sad like when an artist dies. Sometimes you get like a lot of notoriety, and you got a lot of people going back and listening to their work and appreciating them even more so.
Oh yeah,
I think that's cool because it also like in their death, when people start listening to music more, it helps out their family if they have family. So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, obviously it sucks that they died. Yeah, I mean it sucks that they died, but I mean the uptick in sales helps.
There you go. I mean, it's worth noting. I mean, we, obviously, I don't want to take the show down too much, but we passed another milestone in terms of like 500,000 on the coronavirus. Recent numbers are looking way better than they were, but Jesus Christ, man, that's still 500,000 people. I don't know any other way to put it, but that's a lot of loss.
Yeah, what's crazy is that when I get by the numbers, I go through the world meter. And so we passed it a while ago, but just people know, but like the news wasn't picking up on it because I guess they go by some different metric. But the world meter has been pretty spot on.
Yeah.
For like the longest time.
Yeah. there's probably, I mean, yeah, there's different metrics. I think John Hopkins is one of the ones. The CDC has their numbers. It may trail for like a day or two, but yeah, I think all of them are over 500. So heart goes out to everybody that's lost someone, and goddamn, I can't wait for this to be over, man. This approaching a fucking year is the worst thing ever in terms of looking back on a year of our lives. But we are gonna keep it fucking upbeat and happy on this show, goddammit.
Well, we're gonna try, but you always step into some shit.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Usually, it's all good though.
Okay, all good. Can we start with some music stuff, man? At least for me, this was kind of shocking and near and dear to my heart. Daft Punk, this French, goddamn, they cross so many genres, but like EDM, house, dance, soul supergroup that's been out since like the early '90s. They announced this past week that they're doing a split. Like the two guys that everybody's seen them because they wear the big robotic helmets, but very few people know what their actual faces look like. They split up. What did you guys think about this?
I mean,
Go ahead.
You beat me to it. Go ahead.
I just want to put it before Kronos goes. I want to put out a disclaimer. Daft Punk is not in the Rise of Skywalker like the Cthulhu Prodigy thought it was. Right.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Anyway, I mean, they're saying that they're breaking up, but I wouldn't be surprised if they because recently they haven't put out like a whole lot of new music that I'm aware of. They put out some, don't get me wrong, but not a lot, especially not the way they used to. Like they were super hot in the '90s and the early 2000s, and they kind of weren't producing as much music anymore. Which is, I mean, obviously they had other things that they made music on. I mean, they did a whole album with, I think it was an album or just a song with Kanye West and a couple other artists too. So they've been doing a lot of just like collaborative things.
I think Kanye sampled them.
Yeah, he does sample them. And their big thing was the album they did with Pharrell.
Yeah.
So Pharrell produced a whole album for them, which got them a Grammy.
Yeah, so I mean...
Actually, I might have got them 2 Grammys, actually.
If they break up, it would be kind of sad, but also like EDM as a whole is sort of on the downside for at least America. I don't know about the rest of the world. I think trap music has kind of taken over that whole section of like underground music. But yeah, I mean, it is sad because if you grew up when we grew up in like the 90s, when you in your formative years in the 90s, you heard a whole lot of fucking Daft Punk, and there was a whole like around the world and shit. Like, I mean, goddamn, they made a lot of really great music that I think we can all remember. And yeah, I mean, it's eventually like every group or artist, they're gonna stop making music. I'm glad they're in a place to where them saying they're gonna call it quits or split up, that they're still relevant, because there's a lot of folks that just fade into obscurity, and you never hear about. They don't call it quits. The industry decided they was finished. So I was just thinking about like Kid and Play. We'll talk about it later though. But it's like, when did Kid and Play call it quits? I don't remember when they fucking called it quits, but all of a sudden they were done.
Yep.
And I've gotten to learn way more about like why they were done recently. But yeah, I'm glad that they're going out on their own terms. So it's sad, but also I think it's cool they can go out on their own terms if they decide to go out. I wouldn't be surprised if they got back together and started making more music.
Yeah, I hope they do. It would be nice for them to have kind of a reunion. I've never seen them live, so that's kind of sad just on a personal note. But obviously, we've talked about a whole lot of fucking anime on this show, and to me, like, I think it was their second album when they dropped that fucking what was it? I think it's Interstellar 5555. That kind of accompanied the whole fucking album. It was the album that had the One More Time on there.
Yeah,
and they did like
the
that
anime.
was a snippet of it.
Yeah,
but it was like there was like 5 parts of it. It's a whole hour long, I think, anime. That was fucking cool. Toonami showed that shit, and everybody lost their mind. It was the one with all the blue people,
Yeah.
and it kind of looked Sailor Moon, Space Age. That shit was so fucking fire. I really like this band, and I've been listening to them for a long, long time. But of course, this week when I heard the news, I was like, man, let me start putting on some Daft Punk all fucking week, and it's been pretty cool. What about you, Old Ninja?
So Daft Punk has literally put out music every decade since 1991. So I forgot that they put together music for The Weeknd. So the song Starboy,
Yeah,
that
that's what I was
is
thinking of. Yeah,
produced
Starboy.
by them, and
Great
they're
beat.
featured in the song. There's some other artists that they produce for. Other like a lot of the times, artists that they produce for, they appear on their track. Daft Punk also co-produced Kanye West Yeezus album back in 2013. I mean, their presence has been around for literally 3 decades or 4 decades, roughly. And I mean, they've been able to adapt every decade and sometimes transcend. Um, I don't know if y'all remember back in 2010 when Tron Legacy dropped. I mean, they had this track that they had two versions of the same track, and both of them were in like the top 100 Billboard. There's one that literally had no lyrics, and there's actually a track that features like some lyrics. And there's two different videos. There's like a movie cut of the video, and then there's an actual cut that they put themselves in it. Both of them are fire. It's just amazing stuff. I never got a chance to see them either because every time they came anywhere close to like the Bay Area, they were sold out instantly. So they're a super popular group. A lot of people definitely say. I mean, a lot of people have been around with the group like almost virtually their whole lives, especially if you were listening to them back in 2000. You're just turning 21 this year. They've been around, that whole time, and so it's gonna be sad because for me, because they, as producers, they produce like very interesting tracks. As content makers, they were trendsetters, and it's gonna be kind of messed up because sometimes they show up at Coachella and like knowing that they're never gonna be there or possibly never gonna be back. So
what I think beyond even trendsetting is that they really broke out of their own genre. So like when Daft Punk, when they got big, like no other EDM group like really was heard of on the radio except for like Prodigy. But I mean, they obviously they had more staying power than Prodigy did. Even though I love Prodigy, they're a great group. But I think that the fact that Daft Punk, that they got so many collaborations, that they broke the mold, they were on the radio, did all these things. I mean, I don't think any other EDM group has really reached anywhere near the heights that they have. I mean, you guys might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no way that's coming to mind when I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think you hit it on the nose. Like, in terms of staying power, they
You doing cocaine now?
transcended
Prodigy?
like old
What
ninja.
the fuck, man?
Oh,
You doing cocaine
What?
now?
No, I
You
was
think about the
sneezing.
powder?
sneezing.
No, he said staying powder.
The
I'm
powder.
just saying.
The power.
Oh,
They were able to like outlast people like obviously Moby had a
Yeah.
while. Fatboy Slim, Massive Attack. God, I mean,
great ones,
there were quite a few Chemical Brothers. I mean,
Chemical. What was it? Oh no, Dust Brothers became Chemical Brothers, and I actually
Yeah.
got to see the Chemical Brothers perform.
but
That was actually
in terms of staying power and
There we go
goddamn, I
again.
keep saying powder,
I do cocaine.
power and being able to just hang in there for all those decades. Yeah, when I think of EDM, especially 90s and 2000s EDM, I think of some Daft Punk. I really do. That's the first thing that comes to mind. So,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting how they're open to working with like other groups, and sometimes like big up a lot of people. I mean, they've worked with Swizz Beatz and Busta Rhymes has sampled some of their stuff, and they've been able to do a bunch of stuff. I remember back in the 90s or maybe early 2000s, there was a super annoying EDM track that was all over the place called Barbie Girl by Aqua. Oh my
Mhm.
god. Oh my god, I thought that was never going to go
more
away.
of a pop
But
song,
then,
but yeah.
yeah, but then One More Time was like,
Yeah.
was Daft Punk. That blew up. That was playing every half hour on almost every radio station across the country or across the U.S. And then it still played in the club, in the 20 teens. I don't want to say like last year, but definitely when I was like out and about for, what was it, New Year's Eve 2018, 2019, they're still playing Daft Punk in the club.
Well, I
So-
think they did something that rap music figured out a long time ago. Especially the reason why, one of the main reasons why rap music became, in my opinion, okay, this is just me as like a rap fan and an EDM fan as well, is that rap back in the day they became really popular when they started to really take on beats and sampling beats and like making these beats like a really big thing. And I think and they made a whole new genre out of it. I think that what Daft Punk kind of did that was similar to that is that they took their own genre of music and they started using it in different genres. So they would take like their EDM roots and then take it to like, you know, rap, especially like rap and hip hop, and R&B. So they basically spun throughout, you know, these three other genres with their own style. And I think doing that, it really can transcend a lot of different genres, and people like are really willing to like listen to it, and like especially when it becomes popular, you know. Yeah. So I recently, it's funny because Peloton, you know, I'm a Peloton guy. I was doing a Black History Month house ride, and so I'm riding, and like this the woman that was doing the instructor, she was like literally giving like a background on house music back in the day, and it's like basically house came. It was basically the black community and the LGBT back before it was the QQ plus whatever, but it's still the same community. They both got together for like the death of disco, and after the death of disco, like house music really came together, and it was mainly through black and gay clubs, and it was just like really interesting, like hear her talk about like the history. So, and then somebody asked me, was like, well, where can I hear about the history? But I don't have a Peloton bike. I was like, well, let me look it up. So I was looking up like a documentary on house music, and I was like, holy shit, like this chick, like what she was talking about, like was referenced in the documentary that I found, and it was like really interesting to actually hear the people that were really going through this, like Frankie Knuckles and all that, people like that, really talk about what was going on back in like the 60s and 70s, you know, when house music, you know, got popular and why it got popular. I thought it was fucking fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to, in a lot of ways, the Midwest had their own sound when it came to house too. Like Detroit house was its own thing.
Well, it started in Chicago. Yeah, it started in Chicago.
Yeah,
because there was a DJ that wanted to start house music, but he was in New York, and I guess there was like too many New York DJs, so he couldn't really get a foothold. So he moved to Chicago, and that's when it blew up.
Yeah.
There's also Dallas had their own EDM scene because there were some DJs at Dallas that came out, DJs from the South that were EDM, DJs from the Bay. I've met a few of them. They're actually featured in some movies, and it was like kind of crazy. There's actually a song, it's an EDM song that actually chronicles the house music history, just like Cronus was talking about. Like literally, what he was just talking about is literally turned into an EDM song. It's like narrated by somebody. It's still pretty lit. It's actually pretty awesome.
You know what's crazy? I used to go to raves back in the day, back in like the 90s, and I've never been to a rave on any kind of drug, like whatsoever. It's so insane because everybody I knew was always on drugs, like going to raves. I never did drugs when I went to raves.
I didn't trust. I've been to raves too, but like I didn't trust it. Like that was my thing. I was like, I don't know who you are. Like, let me just take these pills from this stranger. Fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it. I'm not. I'm sorry. It's one thing to have like a beer or a cocktail or a shot or something poured by a bartender. You know.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother thing to be like, this person was put this in his backpack and now he's, dropping it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's like, let me get this pucket lid off of this pill real quick. Hold on. Don't show my pubes. Don't even look. Just put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But I guess that's part of like the part of that was the appeal of going to raves for a lot of people, but obviously not for us. But is it be able to trust people to take something from them? But I'm just like, there's some nefarious people. Maybe they're not at at raves, but I mean, it could happen. And I'm not trying to fry my fucking brain because somebody decided to mix fucking acid with bleach or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no shit. You would hear some horror stories, but yeah. Anyway, I miss the whole aspect of being able to see either some live music or a fucking club or something like that. Goddamn, we haven't been able to do that in a fucking minute. But yeah, I hope Daft Punk is able to come together again. It'd be nice, but who knows?
Well, no, I mean they have to be in like they're probably like in their 50s, which would be fucking weird.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Easily, but yeah, we'll see. Do y'all want to touch upon? Because I think both of y'all played Anthem. Do y'all want to touch on BioWare and this latest news? Because this was some big shit.
Yeah,
Go,
I'll
set it
talk
up.
about it. Cause I mean, I actually passed the game. Old Ninja, did you pass the game?
You mean finish the game or
Yeah.
pass like
Like,
stop playing? Oh
finish
yeah,
the game,
I
yeah.
beat it like the first like week that because we both were on the same timeline. We had the
Yeah.
demo and then we got it day one and played it and beat it. And then I went back when they had their quote unquote raids called the Cataclysm. So I
Yeah.
played and beat one of those, and then that's pretty much it, actually. I mean, apparently EA had their quarterly like meeting. They had like this big meeting about their upcoming projects, and one of them on the table was Anthem 2.0, also called Anthem Next. So it was kind of messed up, I think, in a way to the Anthem team because they had a huge team starting out. There was like 100+ people, and then at when the game dropped, they kind of took like 70% of the people and moved them onto like the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is a remaster, which is coming out in a couple months. And so also COVID hit, so they had to design remotely. They went from like 100+ team to down to 20 people or less, and they're working on the improvements of this AAA title very, very, very slowly, and it just wasn't feasible, I guess, to get this out in the time that they said that they're going to. EA wasn't going to pump any more money, I guess, or they weren't going to distribute it, so they're like, well, we're going to have to kill this and move on, take the loss. So
It's fucking broken promises, man. Really
Yep.
pissed me off because the game mechanics are pretty good. Like they're actually the basic game mechanics are really good. Flying around like fucking Iron Man, shooting things in the face was awesome. That part was never in question. The problem was it was the repetitive everything. Everything was so repetitive, and they had so many other small issues with, like, when the game first came out and you picked up a new item, you couldn't equip the item until you went back to base, and it was kind of you wouldn't really know what you had until you went back to base, and that was really stupid. I don't understand. They had a bunch of like really small things that they really could have improved upon, and they could have added in like a lot more content. But they decided to just cut their losses and just, especially after like promising that they're going to make this better, they did like the opposite route of like a No Man's Sky. Like No Man's Sky, they did it. They're going to be the gold standard when it comes to releasing a fucked up game and then fixing it. Because No Man's Sky, they had what was the guy something Murray? I forget his first name.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it?
Was it Ian Murray or
Something Murray. Anyway,
hold on, I'll get the name. Keep going.
That dude was eating shit for months. Talking about, oh, we're gonna make it better. Like, I know that wasn't what you expected. I know these features aren't there. We're gonna fix it. And then they went radio silent and they just fixed it. You know what I mean? I think that there's a lesson we learned there for like pretty much every single game developer out there. It's like, promise. If you come up with, don't get me wrong. We understand that there's gonna be issues with some games. That you might not have everything in there that you want to have in there. You might break some promises, but you can fix it afterwards. All right, you really can. If you say that, hey, we're gonna do this, give us some time. We're gonna give you regular updates. We're gonna definitely communicate. That's also what No Man's Sky did. Hello Games, they communicated with their users. They told us, hey, these are the things that we're looking at. Even when they were doing like their large patches, they were still doing incremental improvements that they would always talk about and give the release notes and do incremental patches, and they would drop gigantic game updates, every couple of quarters. It has been fantastic, and they really are like it's a really good story of like how you can really revive a game after you fucked up. And I think that a lot of these game developers, I think one of the problems is that Hello Games, that was like their only like major game was that game, so they could focus on that. But these other game developers, they are just they have too many games that are being created, and they don't want to invest any amount of time. They want to get a home run every single time. They don't want to hit a base run and then have somebody steal a base, and they're not willing to put in the work like that. They're just like, we have one chance and that's it. But it's not true. You have more than one chance.
Can I just say this? I mean, look, for the PS4, Xbox One generation, BioWare was sucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, they were the gold. You talk about being the gold fucking standard from a studio, because of the Mass Effect trilogy and Dragon Age. And I'm not a big Dragon Age fan, but like they were the king of the fucking castle. And I know they had a Dragon Age at the PS4 launch. I think Inquisition possibly was a PS3 and a PS4 title, maybe. I can't remember.
It might have been both. It's definitely next gen or last gen
Dual.
now.
Yeah. But all I'm trying to say though is, in terms of Andromeda and Anthem, they're two big flagship titles. Both of them fucking disappointed and sucked. And in terms of the player base and whatnot, literally a few months later, it had evaporated to almost nothing. And so people didn't stick around for either of those games. And BioWare has been eating shit. They literally could have re-released now, and they're doing this now, but the Mass Effect trilogy as a complete remastered thing, and we all would have eaten it up. But they didn't do that.
Yeah, if you'd have told me in 2012 that BioWare was going to make 2 shit games in a row, I would have said you're insane.
Yep.
Like, it's impossible. Impossible. I'd have been dead wrong, too.
Yeah. and let me give full disclosure. I was the biggest and loudest CG Projekt Red guy because I was so impressed with Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And they also fucked up their entire reputation with releasing a broken game late last year with Cyberpunk 2077. And you don't hear a whole fucking lot about that right now. Yes, they have the opportunity to do the PS5 version, fix it and whatnot, but they hurt their reputation. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the consistencies.
Oh, true. But there's... I don't know if we're going to get to this later, but Cyberpunk is still talked about today because there's some major shit that just happened within the last couple weeks. But jumping back to Hello Games, one of the co-founders, his name was Sean Murray.
Sean Murray. Yeah,
he was the one that was talking a lot. And then I don't know if y'all remember the Video Games Awards. No Man's Sky was nominated for an award because of the innovation that they did. They basically treated it like a new game, pretty much. And they've gone through numerous iterations. I've gone back, and the game, it feels similar, but there's so much new stuff that you can do. So much new, improved, like, mechanics and improved, like, multiplayer. Because before, multiplayer was fucked from the jump.
Well,
and they fixed all that shit.
Be real, though. In the beginning, when the game first came out, there was no multiplayer.
Oh yeah, but they promised there was supposed to be multiplayer, and people were like, "Well,
no, they didn't."
I can't find my friend.
They said the world was so big that you would never see, or the universe was so big that you would never see another player. That's what they said. And they said, and then they said, "Well, you could probably see somebody. It'd be pretty improbable, but you can see them." But then remember when they would have literal timestamps with users being like, "I'm on the same planet."
I do remember that.
And then I don't see and they're in the same exact spot, but they couldn't see each other. And then Sean Murray had to eat shit about that one too. So, and then they fixed it.
A lot of lies. And I will just point out, and again, I didn't even play No Man's Sky, but there were threats of lawsuits too. And I know that was not fun because, like, I think it was over in Europe or Australia. One of them was like, "Hey, this looks like a whole lot of fucking fraud, motherfucker." And so there was that noise. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the lawsuit actually occurred, but there were certainly threats and like we're gathering evidence kind of shit that it was going down. But back to Anthem itself, this is a failed brand new IP. They invested a lot of fucking money in this, and I don't hear it nearly as many people having faith that the next Dragon Age or whatever they're doing next with Mass Effect or any new IPs, that they have faith in BioWare. I just don't. I don't see it.
Yeah. I don't get. Well, I do get it. I mean, the original creators, there were 2 doctors, and I think they both have left the company like a long time ago. I think they are rudderless at this point. They're not doing the correct amount of what do you call it? Quality control at all. I don't think there's anything like that. They're pushing out games shittily, like an EA game would normally be. They just push it out. I was like, listen, you're BioWare. You should have a higher standard. Like, we're all willing to wait. Same thing with like Cyberpunk. Like I don't understand why they kept saying, we need to have it out now. It's like no, like whenever you're ready, like release it. There are so many fucking games out, today, and there's a solid schedule of games that are coming out. I have shit to play. Everybody has shit to play. If you don't think you have anything to play, you're definitely missing some gems from either the previous generation or this generation. I don't know why these people need to rush these games out because they're obviously rushed.
You know why? It's financial. That's why they dropped it at the end of the fourth quarter. The stock people were like, "Hey, let's fucking rush this." Well,
I mean,
it's short-sighted.
It is
short-sighted. Way short-sighted.
Because I mean, look at what happened with the latest fucked up game with Cyberpunk 2077. Look how many refunds they had to do for that. So yeah, you moved units, but you also refunded a bunch of units. So
it's even worse than that though. Right now, as we speak, it's still not available on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, they pulled it.
Literally, let's say you got a gift certificate for the PlayStation Store, or you got, you put some extra money on that wallet or whatever. You cannot buy it digitally, and digital sales are huge.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, just put out a quality product. I mean, unless you're like even indie games. Fucking indie games are putting out quality products. Mm-hmm. There's really no excuse for it. Today. You're like, oh well, it takes so much money and so much time. I fucking get that. I totally get it. But you can also take your time, and you can recoup your losses by making a badass game. How long did it take to make fucking God of War? It was like damn near 10 years.
5 years, yeah.
Was it 5 years? It was, yeah. 5 years. Okay, that game was fucking awesome. Look how long it took to make a GTA 5. That game was awesome. Look how much money they're still making off the game. The game has spanned 3 different console generations.
Over 140 million sales of GTA 5, and still going to be one of the top games of 2021 in terms of sales.
And GTA 5, they fucked up too. I mean, with their online thing, when the online component first came online, I was one of the first people. I was like, listen, I can't connect and I can't do shit. There's nothing to do in this game. And then what they do, they're like, okay, we got you, homie. Like, they fixed all that shit. They fixed it all. They keep coming out with free content. They keep dropping it, and it keeps being in the top 20 or probably even the top 10 every single month for game sales, because the game consistently puts out new content that people want and they listen to their consumers. But meanwhile, you have people like Anthem, with BioWare. It's like, oh well, we fucked up. Oh, okay, bye. Like,
yeah, kind of.
Like, really?
I mean, the only thing, if you're a fan of Anthem, they're gonna leave the servers up so you can still play, but you're not gonna get more updates.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. There's no point. There's no point in playing Anthem right now because all the content is all the fucking same. It's all the same boring bullshit. Like, it was cool at first, but you can't have me play the same 5 game modes for hundreds of hours. Like, it's not gonna fucking happen.
I'm with you. Yeah, no, and here's the other thing too. The reviews were fucking soft as fuck, and not only just from critics, but even players were just like, this is bullshit. R.I.P. to it.
Yeah, it sucks because the mechanics were, like Chrono said, were great, but you run out of content kind of quick, and you're like, well, I want more to do, and there's not, so I'm just gonna run around aimlessly doing stuff that I can think of. So. Yeah, but there was so much. I hope that somebody remakes it. I hope that there's probably an Anthem 2 or something like that in the works, because goddamn, like, being able to, like, what they did with the synergy with different classes worked really well, and the fact that you can synergize with yourself is something that BioWare does really well. They did it in Mass Effect as well, where you can synergize with like different powers and shit like that. But like, I think that it went kind of into overdrive with Anthem, and that's something that I hope they don't lose sight of, because there's definitely game mechanics that they need to keep and make into a new game or Anthem 2, which they probably won't. But yeah,
please learn.
I mean, we never know, but yeah, the mechanics they definitely need to keep those and definitely incorporate them in some future endeavor, whatnot. Because and it was weird because the world is actually fairly large.
Yeah.
But there's still just like not a whole lot to do. Like the end game content was like what do I do? I'm just gonna run around and keep killing stuff. but there's no new missions. There's no like end game loot. There's no like it was just nothing. Wasteland.
Yeah, and it was annoying how we had to keep going back to base. I'm like, this fucking base sucks. Like, why am I going back to this base? It's so like, how dare you make a quote unquote open world game, but if I want to like reap the benefits from what I've just done in the quote unquote open world, I have to go back to some stupid ass fucking base where I'm slow as shit. Like literally, like you can't run. You have to just walk everywhere, and everything's all fucking spread out. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
You know what studio tends to have a better batting average is Blizzard. Did y'all see BlizzCon online? Of course, people weren't physically there, but they had their BlizzCon online last week. Did y'all see this?
Yeah,
No,
I didn't watch I watched parts of it.
Okay.
There was mostly things that I already knew were gonna come out, so it was nothing really groundbreaking. Like we already knew that Diablo 4 was coming out. We already knew about Overwatch 2. They gave some more details. That's cool and all. And I understand it's pandemic's still going on, so they don't have a whole lot of info for like a lot of things. But I mean, it was okay.
The thing that was new to me, and I got into Diablo with Diablo 3, so I never played 1 or 2, but they're doing 2 Resurrected, and I hear 2 is one of most
really
Diablo fans' favorite games. So I thought that was kind of cool, and it's supposed to be a much lower price. It's available on all the consoles, multi-platform or whatever. I'll probably go back and play 2, because it does not look like 4 is going to drop for 2021, certainly, and who knows about even next year. But what I did see of 4, they did release a class, like the Rogue class.
And she looked
dope.
Looked cool. Yeah, I mean, the class looked dope. She had the range attacks and the melee and the ability to kind of jump off a horse, and there was all kind of stuff going on. It looked fun. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it did look fun. But it was just like there was nothing really new. I mean, yeah, you're dropping a new class, and I get that. Yeah. And even with with Overwatch 2, they showed a new character, but it's just like, all right, these are all things that we kind of knew that were coming. We understand that if you make a new game, you're gonna have new characters. So yeah. I did see for Overwatch 2, one of the things that kind of excited me a little bit was on the sneak peek stuff, you saw like a skill tree, for certain characters, and I was like, okay, I can see that for like the PvE mode, which we've talked about that on this show for like years. It was one of the things that I felt was missing from Overwatch 1. Well, but they had
they had it.
Yeah,
they had it temporarily.
And they take it out. I'm like, why?
They took it away from us, and I was like, wait a minute, this is what I fucking want. I would love this shit. So it's way too early to fucking tell. It's even too early to start the hype machine, but I know I'm interested in these fucking games, and at least we got a little bit of a teaser with them, Oh yeah, for sure. I'm definitely gonna play both games, especially when Overwatch is putting in PvE. I mean, that's my bread and butter, so I'll definitely go and play that, and obviously I'll get Diablo 4 as well and check out the new classes. So yeah, I mean, I guess I was kind of downplaying it, but it was just nothing really new as far as like games.
A new IP?
Yeah, it's just like, but I get it. I get it. So I think for most people, they would have been very happy to see what they saw for BlizzCon. But it also takes them a long ass time to really make a new IP. So and Blizzard, they don't put out shit until it's really done. I can't think of a single game from Blizzard that flopped. When they have an inkling that it's gonna flop, they just fucking cancel it. Like they've had plenty of games that they were making. They're just like, nah, fuck that. Like the one that actually made Overwatch was StarCraft Ghost. They scrapped the entire game and they took elements from that engine and they made an Overwatch. So
nice.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought there was rumors like maybe 3 or 4 E3s ago that there was some super secret Blizzard like new IP that they were working on. There was nothing announced, no hints, no nothing.
No.
Okay.
I mean, but like I said, they wait, until they have like a really good game. Like I think Ghost is like the only one that they canceled. But there was a few other ones that were being worked on that they hadn't completed, and they just scrapped them even in development. But when people think of Blizzard, for me, it goes even before, like StarCraft and even Warcraft. I mean, for me, like the first time I think I played a Blizzard game, I'm pretty sure it was some racing game they used to make. I forget what the fuck it was called, but it was on the Super Nintendo and it was fun as shit. I have to look it up. You guys give me a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I was never. I never went down the rabbit hole on PC, especially for World of Warcraft. But I mean, that sucked so many lives away from people.
It was rock and roll racing on the Super Nintendo. That game was so much fucking fun. Yeah, and I wish they should come out with that again. I mean, honestly, they should make a modern version of rock and roll racing.
That'd be fun. I think I do remember that one. Maybe.
Holy snap!
Yeah, they made a bunch of other games that people just forget about.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that these were Blizzard games. Hearthstone, which is super popular still, and Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah,
that's popular.
They're super popular games. I didn't know it was them. I totally thought those were different franchises. But was that it from the?
Hold on, sorry. I think Lost Vikings is another one that I played, and so was RPM Racing. Like these are games because it was as Silicon and Synapse, but it's the same group. They used to make a whole different genres of games, and Blackthorn, and they made a fucking Justice League game too. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, like they have a whole bunch of games that they could go back and do, but right now they're so focused on the three. Well, actually, I guess they have 4 main franchises right now, right? It's Warcraft,
Diablo, StarCraft, Warcraft,
and
Overwatch.
Yeah, all the other games right now, they're derivatives of those franchises. So if you say, oh, they have Hearthstone or Heroes of the Storm, those are just they're the heroes from the games that we're talking about. Yeah. So
I guess a couple of them are spin-offs from other franchises. So
yeah.
Well, what's really cool though, I will say, and I went back to Diablo 3's during the pandemic. They fucking keep updating that motherfucker. Like season 20, season 25, or whatever. New shit, new loot. Like they don't stop. They don't just put out a high quality 9 or 10 out of 10 game and then just say, oh, here you go. Nah, they keep updating, and so I appreciate that about them, especially when you're talking about not just for PC but on the consoles as well. So I trust them way more than BioWare.
Holy shit! Blizzard made that fucking game back in '94, The Death and Return of Superman. Holy shit!
God damn!
I forgot about that game, but yeah, that's all bad.
Shit.
Can someone talk to me about this Outsiders shit? Because
go ahead.
Everyone is like dicks out for Harambe for this fucking shit. I barely saw something earlier today. What is this about? What's going on?
Yeah, so I think I brought it up to all you guys like a while ago, probably like 2, maybe even 3 years ago. Actually, no, maximum 2 years. The game called Outriders, and it's by People Can Fly. It's the same studio that most recently made Bulletstorm, which to me is like really a hidden gem because it didn't sell a lot, but the game was fun as shit. It was Cliffy B worked on that game. He was the director of that game. Cliffy B is not working on Outriders, but it is a People Can Fly and Square Enix game, I believe. And People Can Fly also worked on a lot of the Gears of War franchises. So it's a game it's a third-person shooter where it's a looter shooter, but they're trying to get away from the typical looter shooter issues that a lot of looter shooters, besides like Borderlands 3 has, because they're in a whole different category. A lot of looter shooters have issues with like content and like keeping content, and then also keeping players engaged. And I think that they're going to address that in different ways. They're already talking about like the world tier systems in the games, and they're not going to have. So one of the main pitfalls of a lot of looter shooters, I use Destiny as an example. Thank goodness I stopped playing Destiny a long time ago. But what they'll do is in Destiny, you'll have loot that you have, and you really want to keep it. But depending on like the DLC that you have, you might lose the gear that you want. Like they have multiple times where they've literally had an update and they've taken away like certain guns or gear, only to reintroduce it, a few seasons later. And I think that's incredibly lazy and fucked up to do that to people. Like, why don't you just make new weapons or customizable weapons? That'd be a much better way to go. In Outriders, you can customize your weapons. So if you have a weapon that you really like, you can just keep customizing it and upgrading it as far as you want. As far as I can tell so far, there's a decent story. There is vastly different character types in the game that you can play as. It looks like the graphics look amazing. Everything I've seen so far looks really good, but like not a lot of people have really heard about it yet, which has been odd for me. I know it's been pushed back by a couple of months, which is fine. The demo drops tomorrow on February 25th, 2021. I'm hyping it up, but if it sucks, I'll be the first to let you know. Remember what I said about Avengers and other games?
I was gonna say,
yeah,
that's where Square Enix spent all that advertising money.
yeah,
Up that game last year.
Yeah,
So,
but it looks really good.
Yeah, what I saw from this game is that the demo is not going to be a like one level type thing. This is going to be a 3-hour plus demo that you can play. It'll be multiplayer ready, and it is crossplay ready in the demo tomorrow. You can actually watch on YouTube right now. There's a little bit telling you on how to do the multiplayer and how to set up your crossplay, because crossplay will be disabled as soon as you jump in. But if you want to play with cross people, you just basically go into your settings, turn it on, and then matchmake. Done. So, and this is being released on like every single platform.
And I heard it carries over too, like carries over the
demo
progress.
stat,
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. So it looks interesting. It looks like it's 4-player co-op, maybe 3.
I think it was 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, so it's weird because when you're watching it, the cover shows 3 people.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at the gameplay, it looks like there's 4 people playing. Sort
Let me
of.
look it up.
So either way, looks interesting. There's 4 classes, I guess. So there's 4 different classes you can play.
For the demo, I heard there's going to be 6.
What was it? Oh yeah, I heard they're going to release 2 more, and then you can, during the demo, if you beat the demo, you can play it again and start with different classes, see if you like it.
Just so I'm clear, this is a brand new IP though, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay.
And it's a 3-player co-op, which is kind of odd, but whatever.
Yeah, it seems
No,
to be.
I mean, we have the precedent with Apex, right?
Apex, Destiny's 3 players, Gears of War.
Wasn't Uncharted Online? Wasn't Uncharted Online a lot of times 3 players for a lot of their modes?
I can't remember.
So, Uncharted Online, it was only the Horde mode that was 3 players, but you could do deathmatch and all that other stuff with I think 6v6, something like that.
What I like though is like the actual different character classes where they have like the Techromancer or something like that. They have like a fire-based guy, and like they seem to be like really well thought out character classes, and you can respec at no cost at any time.
Yeah,
I like that.
So
that'd be fucking up my skill tree.
So the 4 classes is the Trickster, the Techromancer, the Devastator, and the Pyromancer.
Yeah.
So the Devastator is supposed to be the tank, I guess, and then the Pyromancer is high DPS, or I think it might be vice versa. Techromancer, the Trickster is like guy who can kind of disappear, get in and out real quick, and Techromancer, I forgot what they literally showed, but it just sounds.
They would
cool.
drop like drones and shit. That's probably what I'll play as, because they had like this crazy like missile launching thing. I was like, oh, it's dope. So.
That fits your class type.
Yeah, I'll always play because I'm Kirito on almost all my games. I play solo a lot.
So I mean, the demo drops tomorrow. I might be on this demo tomorrow. I know I've heard people talk about it today, and they're like, "Dude, are you going to be on this? Like, you're gaming all the time. What's up with you?" I'm like, "Dude, I've only heard a little bit about it. It's literally from Cronus. Nobody else is really talking about. All of a sudden today, I'm hearing a ton of people talk about this. So,
and is this going to be after the? I think Sony, don't they have a state of play tomorrow in the afternoon?
Well, the demo drops like at midnight tonight, and then the game drops on April 1st. So
gotcha.
Because they push it back a little. So I don't. The Sony game of state of play thing is kind of weird because they just announced like a couple days ago, right? So I'm just like,
yeah,
that's weird. Hopefully they'll have like a God of War update and a couple other updates too. But I don't expect a lot from state of play, to be honest.
I feel like I need to know what their spring into summer stuff is going to be, because like I think we have Returnal and that Kena Bridge of Spirits, and then the Ratchet and Clank, and I mean you got quite a few titles, and then obviously a hard date or seeing some more of the Horizon for what's it called, Wild West
or the Frozen West.
Yeah,
No,
well, real quick, let's talk about just another game that's like being really downplayed, not talked about enough. It's one of the games you just said, Prodigy, and it's Returnal. The game looks fucking amazing, and it's not getting a whole lot of game press for some reason. I'm just like, I see like some demos and stuff like things from Sony coming out, but like I don't see a lot of press like really hyping it up. But it looks fucking crazy, and it technically looks amazing too.
Is it a console exclusive to PlayStation at first? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then we better hear about it tomorrow.
Yeah, because it drops soon. I think it drops on like April 30th or something like that. But you play as a female, and you're on this alien planet and you get like some crazy alien like tech inside your body, and it just everything looks like really grandiose and looks really good. And there's something about like reality being all fucked up. It looks they have some horror elements as well, and I just don't know why we're not hearing enough about that. I feel like the gaming press focuses a little too much on these established IPs, and don't put really any like real thought into like these new IPs.
Yeah,
I'm gonna remind. Well, hold on. Let me remind everyone though. Last year, we had heard about a game called Ghost of Tsushima, but we didn't see a whole lot fucking literally months ahead of time. It like waited till very close to launch before it was just like, here's this masterpiece of an open world great game, you know what I mean? So sometimes they play things kind of close to their chest, but you do need to promote, especially when it's a new IP. I agree with that.
Yeah. And I agree with definitely as well, because there's stuff that I'm interested in and I want to know more about, because if you want my money, you need to tell me about it. You need to show me something, show me a little something. And Returnal, from what I gather, it literally feels like Groundhog Day meets Aliens. That's kind of what the feel that I kind of get from it. And then there's the other IP that the guys from Dead Space, they have a new IP coming out. We saw a trailer, I think, late last year, but I'm not hearing a whole lot from it. I want to see more. I mean, we've only seen a trailer. I want to see gameplay. Nobody's really talking about it. Apparently, it's supposed to come out later this year, but I'm not hearing a whole lot. I'm not hearing anything about Fable, the new Fable.
Well, you're not gonna hear that at the Sony.
Well, no, I mean, but I'm just saying new games in general, like overall. I mean, all I'm hearing about really is just like expansions for current games. I mean, literally, that's mostly what I see a lot of the gaming press talk about, like what the new DLC, the new expansions for this and that, or when is the sequel to this massive, like the GTA 6. I mean, I keep seeing articles about that. The next, not even God of War.
This
like,
is like
people aren't even talking about that.
I feel like this is a self-fulfilling prophecy with like what we were just talking about, like reasons why Anthem got canceled. It's just like you see these gaming press people hyping up these games that are established games that you already know they're gonna fucking sell. So like, why are you hyping these games up even more? Like, why aren't you hyping up like these other games that are not well known, that are new IPs, that people should be interested in? It's like, yeah, sometimes they fuck up, but like when they hit a home run, like acknowledge that they're hitting a home run. Like, tell us how interested you are in these new IPs, because some of these look fucking amazing, like Outriders. And I'll give IGN some credit with Outriders. I mean, they are hyping up a little bit, but it doesn't seem like the same amount of hype that I was getting with like a Borderlands 3. You know what I mean? Like Borderlands 3, that was hyped all the shit. But I mean, but it's Borderlands, and I get it. But at the same time, it's like, come on, like give equal fucking hype to games that you're hyped about.
Oh,
yeah.
Speaking of
the only thing I'll give a little bit of leeway, and I hate to keep blaming like the pandemic or whatever, but I know that they don't have some of their big hands-on gaming conventions where sometimes you would have literally IGN and Polygon or whatever reps flown out to Europe or flown out to Japan, and then they get hands-on whatever experience with it. Obviously, yes, you can still send out quick demos and whatnot, and give people codes. I get all of that, but some of it, I think, has to do with just the world has changed of late.
That's true. I'll give you that, but again, I'm seeing so much hype on games that are already out, like Call of Duty. I'm seeing more shit about Call of Duty because apparently the new season of Call of Duty is about to drop, and they're all talking about zombies coming to Warzone and stuff, and everybody's jumping on that. But I'm like, oh, Outriders' demo is supposed to drop tomorrow.
I can't fucking
only IGN was the only one that I saw that posted something.
Yeah, I can't.
So,
the hype with Call of Duty. Don't get me wrong. Like, I actually am a little bit hyped for the new zombie mode. With like the new updates. But you know what? Fuck Call of Duty. I mean, to be honest with you, like the game, why is it taking up so much of my fucking hard drive? Like, seriously, what the fuck? Why is nobody talking about this? What the fuck? How is it taking hundreds of gigs on my fucking hard drive? And I have precious little space with my PS5. Fuck you all, you search we don't have one. I'm just saying, with my tiny hard drive, it's taking up all this space, and I'm just like, the last Call of Duty, to be honest with you, the single player was kind of meh. Like, I didn't even fucking complete it. I was just like, it's okay. What turned me off the most is that the fact that I had to piecemeal this fucking game together. It was 2020 last year. Why do I have to install 5 different versions of this game on my fucking hard drive? Why isn't it just all in one go? And why is it over 100 gigs? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And why isn't any person in the gaming media talking about this issue? The fact that they constantly are inflating all of their install files, and the games are not technically savvy at all. Like, they don't look impressive. They're not doing anything new. They're doing all the same shit that they've been doing for the past 20 fucking years. But in the meantime, it keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Warzone's new.
Warzone was
Get the fuck out of here. Warzone is just fucking, Fortnite, fucking, PUBG. It's nothing new. It's not new.
It's new for Call of Duty.
Yeah, it was new for Call of Duty.
But it should not take a vast amount of resources on my goddamn hard drive to have something where I'm literally playing the same fucking map over and over again. What the? Come on, guys. Seriously, think about it.
So
what the fuck?
We did talk about this quite a bit last year, and even dating back to late 2019, because the first really big Call of Duty game with it was Modern Warfare. And it made no sense that you'd have 50 gig updates on a game that was already close to 200 gigs.
Yeah.
So
what makes me even
crazy.
This is what makes me even more angry is that you have a game like somebody needs to explain to me how the fuck God of War in 2018 had a smaller install file than the Call of Duty that came out in the same time. God of War had no fucking load screens. Like, seriously, it looked way better.
It's bloated.
Yeah.
Both of the past 2 games were very bloated. I'm not going to make any excuses for them at all. I also think that game journalists in general, they're not going to come at Activision. You know what I mean? They're scared as shit.
I will, because I'm small. We're small fry, so I'll come at them. You're using the same fucking assets, you assholes. I see this shit. Your fucking AR-15 in fucking Call of Duty, 2 is the same fucking AR-15 in Call of Duty Cold War. You might have had to add in a couple more fucking bits for the PS5 for the trigger, but that's about it. That's a couple of K, bitch. You're not fooling me.
I get you. Yeah. I'm gonna give. How long is this demo for Outriders? Will it last for like a week or a weekend?
I think it's a week. Yeah, I gotta look at bullshit for a minute. I'll tell you.
And I guess it will probably take you the weekend to probably beat it. I mean, unless you're gonna sit and power through. But if you're gonna power through and go through all 4 characters, it'll probably take you.
Oh shit! I can download it right
the
now.
whole weekend.
I'm about to do that shit.
But yeah, is that it for gaming? Because I feel like
no. Well, I was gonna switch it up a little bit. It's semi-gaming related, but I was fucking hyped and impressed as shit last week when I saw this fucking trailer for Mortal Kombat.
Where the fuck is
Oh
that?
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I
yeah,
mean,
Yeah.
look.
my dick
look,
might have got hard. I'm just saying.
Yeah, look. We all know some of those 90s ones. I think the first one was super cheesy, but had some fun shit
Oh,
going on.
the soundtrack. Come on, man.
Soundtrack
Yeah.
was awesome.
Your light.
Your soul is mine. I mean, come on. They semi brought it for the time, but it was on a much lower level. This one seems like this reboot seems like a whole new fucking ball game. Sub-Zero is literally intimidating and scary as fuck. You got
He had fucking blood knives, bro. I was like, holy shit.
yeah, Melina is licking the
hold on.
blood off of the
Real
side.
quick, with Sub-Zero, he literally slashed the motherfucker, froze his blood as it came out, and then stabbed him with his own blood. I'm like, bruh, what the fuck? That is awesome.
Yeah.
The actual gory, true fucking fatalities appear to be in this, and they're actually good effects. So yes, it's only a trailer. You know, I think it comes out on HBO Max in like a month or so. I don't know the
Like
exact hard date.
Yeah.
Like I think is it April? They do have a hard date. I want to say it's April 16th.
Yeah,
give me
but
1 second.
This trailer, if you fucking love Mortal Kombat, I don't know how you could ask for more in a fucking trailer. I really don't.
Yeah, if you're paying attention, they yes, it is April 16th is its release date on HBO Max and simultaneously in theaters. If you're open.
Yeah. There's obviously some characters we haven't seen. I'm totally okay with that. I don't actually even want to see any more. I'm already fucking sold. I know what I'm going to be doing that night, watching it at home. Just totally impressed. I know we haven't seen Johnny Cage. We do see Sonya Blade in it. We do
don't
see
see
Goro.
Katana. We don't see
Yeah.
Katana.
Yeah. But
So,
some of the main characters that have been with this franchise since the 90s, before the ESRB, were in this, and they all looked like great versions of them.
Can we just talk about how fucking awesome Mortal Kombat was back in the day? So,
Yep.
I've been a fighting game like aficionado since like Street Fighter 1, like the first one. It's been amazing to me. So like Street Fighter was like the gold standard for like fighting games like the longest time. Then they had Tekken, that was something different. And then they had Mortal Kombat, was like, you know what? Yeah, it's all fun with your non-violence violence. Let's fucking rip somebody's skull with their spine. Like I remember as a kid, I was just like, you can do that in a video game? Like this is horrific violence, but I'm having a lot of fun. So let's keep it rolling. And then they just kept like the response to Mortal Kombat and then Mortal Kombat 2 with the government was so extreme. I loved their response for Midway Games, just like, you know what? Okay, we can do that. We're gonna add in friendships on the next one, but also more horrific violence. Actually, we're gonna up the ante on horrific violence. I was just like, that's a perfect response. He's just the ultimate fuck you. Like they gotta play our games. People want violence. Get the fuck out of here.
yeah. I mean, it was a Mortal Kombat 2 or 3. You could kill babies because it's like super crazy. Like they had the babality where you change your opponent into a baby, but then
you don't
kill
the
the baby.
No, you don't kill the baby. You just turn him into a baby.
There's one where you could like throw the baby out, because I remember Katana could throw her fan at the baby and there'd be blood and shit.
I don't remember that.
The baby goes everywhere.
Maybe it's
yeah,
true.
it was pretty crazy.
But let me just give you the hypocrisy of America. Okay, so we had when Mortal Kombat came out, which was in like the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we had horrific violence in video games. Okay, nobody actually fucking died. Meanwhile, we went to war with Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
Then we fucking decided to go to war with Kosovo and Syria, all that shit. Like we did a whole bunch of other horrific shit of actual real life violence. In the meanwhile, you have Tipper Gore, talking about, oh, we can't have fucking curse words in music, and you can't have violence in video. Bitch, your administration is sending people to war that are dying and getting shot and shooting people. The fuck are you talking about?
Yep.
Like, would you rather have them do that or play video games where like nobody's dying at all? Like, come on, man. I can't stand that shit.
Do you remember arcade culture
Oh
when you
my
first
God.
saw a
course.
fatality? Because I literally remember watching some guy who was probably only a 16-year-old, but to me at the time seemed like this fucking full-grown man doing who could do a fatality on command and was whooping everybody's ass. And I was like, this is the coolest motherfucker on the planet. this is a fucking god here, you know?
So that was me for a while. Actually, for like most of my life at an arcade. Like I was the dude that was just like fucking everybody up. And being that guy, and like, yeah, I love that arcade. Like, I remember walking into arcades and just like remembering like that kind of musk smell because they never clean the carpets that well. You know, so you knew there's like a little tinge of mold in the fucking carpet. And then like the funky teenager and like preteen smell that you get when you walked in there. And then you walked up to like a game that you knew you were good at. And you had to put your quarter up and like wait for your turn. And like hope that you had enough skills to like be that guy that played the longest amount of time on that fucking 1 quarter or 2 quarters. You know, I used to love doing that shit, like being in the zone, playing games. I remember there was like a tilt in Newark. I was playing Tekken 3. I had a 56 win streak.
Damn.
One time at Tekken 3, and I was just like, dude, this is amazing. There was like a crowd. But you don't get that anymore. That's one thing that's lost, even before COVID, because we have this because everything's online. We don't have the arcade culture anymore. I wish that it could come back. Like if I became a millionaire, I would open arcades at a loss after COVID's done. I would open arcades at a loss just so kids could like get that real social interaction again, and have fun.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
You can't replace it. There's nothing like it. Even fucking like fighting game tournaments where there's nothing like an arcade. Like, an arcade feels completely different. And I'm just back to this trailer though. I really hope that this actually becomes the start of like a brand new Mortal Kombat rated R, lots of fatality, almost universe in and of itself. I hope the first one's good. And obviously I'm not getting ahead of myself. If the first one is not good, then there will not be spin-offs and sequels and all that. You have to knock it out of the park first. But if they can do that, I would love for Mortal Kombat to be thriving in the world of fighting, bloody, violent fighting movies as well. That'd be fucking dope. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I goddamn. I'm just thinking about just arcade culture. I'm just like, where can I fit a fucking cabinet in this goddamn base?
I'm looking around right now.
I can put it somewhere. You can build it.
Yep. There was some kind of, just on movie news, some kind of wah. Blade is not going to be rated R. The MCU version, obviously we got 3 rated R movies with Wesley Snipes, but it's a new fucking day. What do y'all think of this?
It's terrible. I mean, listen, if you're gonna have Blade, why the fuck? And don't get me wrong, rated R and PG-13 back when we were kids is way different from now. Because now when you have PG-13, you can have like some pretty decent violence and some blood too. Definitely no titties, but and some curse words. I don't know why they would want to make Blade not rated R, especially given that we already had success. Like, first of all, Blade broke the mold on the, hey, first of all, you can make a rated R comic book movie that can be successful. Second of all, we just had Deadpool. We had 2 movies that were rated R that were successful. You could do it on a small budget and make them successful. So I don't know why. This is the problem that I think Marvel's going to have, because they've seen so much large success with the Avengers, like their whole MCU overall, is that they're afraid to lose that $1 trillion movie success. But you can't get a $1 trillion movie every single time. You know what I mean? Even with all your other movies, like it took them 15 years to get into the $1 trillion movie territories. They had to build up to it.
You're talking about per film, like, wait, I'm sorry. Like you're saying trillion, but you mean like billion though.
Sorry, billion. Sorry, $1 billion movies.
Okay.
When you get to like $1 billion movies, like it's.
I'm thinking you were saying trillion as a whole. I'm like,
no. I said trillion, but I meant to say billion. My bad. Yeah, it's very rare that you get $1 billion movies, and when you get to them, it takes a huge build up to get to those. First of all, and then second of all, like you can't expect every movie to be $1 billion, and I think that's what they're going to try to expect on other movies. You are never. I'm not going to say never. It is highly unlikely that no matter how you make Blade, that it's going to make $1 billion. It's just, especially in America, because America's racist as fuck. Still, they're not, like, a lot of people in America are not going to watch, a black dude being a superhero. Like, it's just not going to happen. So let's set the expectation that we're going to make the best Blade film possible, staying true to the character, and make it rated R. Let's do that.
Old Ninja, what you got?
Someone brought up the point in the original Blade, there was a lot of blood, but every time he killed a vampire, they turned to ash. So if you kind of remove a portion of the blood, you can still have the violence, but
who said that? Who said that? Yeah,
I know it was raining blood, but there's also you alienate your audience with PG-13 versus rated R, because rated R, I mean, granted, yeah, a lot of parents are taking their kids to rated R, but a lot of, provided that movie theaters reopen, they were checking IDs for R-rated movies, and if you were not above 17, you got denied unless you're with the parent. So I think what they're trying to do is, because of the MCU, every single one of their films are PG-13. If you make an R-rated film, there's a disconnect between the continuation of the rest of the films. There's going to be a portion of the audience that will not be able to see the film and not understand this new character that's helping out the rest of the heroes. Plus, generally, statistically, I mean, if you look at the top 10 highest grossing films, I believe most of them are PG-13.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, but I go back to what I said. Not every film is going to be a high grossing movie, and I think that's what they're chasing. Like everything you just said is they're just trying to go for the maximum amount of profits when there are certain franchises that you're going to come across where they're not going to be, because of the nature of the characters, they're not going to make that much money. Like if the new Blade made $500 million, I would be fucking happy as shit. I really would be.
Hell yeah.
But you can't dilute characters in such a way that where it damages their own like the way they actually are. You know what I mean? Like if you made, I'm trying to think of like really violent. Well, I mean, Deadpool, they already did it. They made it rated R. But there's other like really violent.
Logan.
Yeah, Logan. Yeah, that was violent as well. That was rated R, wasn't it?
Yep, it was.
Yeah. The Logan rated R.
Well, I mean, there's other ones that are out there where they literally have characters that are in the comics that you can't make them like the fucking Punisher. Like you can't make the Punisher like PG-13. You know what I mean? Like you can't. I mean, his fucking family dies. He goes out there. He goes out and brutally murders multiple people. Some of them are maybe innocent, but probably not. And I don't understand why they're trying to extend this whole this PG little blankie for people when it should not exist. Like it shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think some of this is an age or generational difference. When we were basically in high school or just leaving high school, that first Blade movie came out of fucking nowhere.
Oh yeah, I was not prepared.
And
I was like,
I didn't even realize that it was that he was from the comics. You know what I mean? At first, because they didn't make that very clear.
Yeah.
It took me a little while. Like afterwards, I was like, oh, okay, that's the same Blade. He looks a little different now. If you go back to the Blade from the comics prior to Wesley Snipes,
oh yeah,
he doesn't look exactly like him. So
no.
that was my defense. But in any event, it came out of fucking nowhere. It was bloody. It was violent. It did have that awesome EDM soundtrack. You know what I mean? And it just was a kick in the fucking pants. Like, and this was before the Matrix even.
Bro,
it was just hard.
They had a former porn star in the first goddamn scene. I was like, bruh.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, she dies, but
no.
Still.
Oh yeah, she does.
I mean, and going back to the character, like Kronos was mentioning, this is a character that does not web up, vampires and does not put handcuffs on them. This is a character that fucking kills vamps, brutally, violently, horrifically as possible, like on some Mortal Kombat shit, basically. So you are changing things, but like Old Ninja was saying, I think, for better or worse, you're probably going to, with a PG-13 label, have even more families going to see the movie, and it's going to be this, close to $1 billion movie if things go back to the 2019, 2018 days.
Well, I mean, you know what's crazy to me is that they never give the same consideration when they think about like making these super G-rated movies, where it's like it's made for kids. You don't care about the adults. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know what that's the same dumbass logic that I'm thinking of. But obviously, you know, adults have kids; they have to watch. Blah blah. I fucking get it. But you know,
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. Like both of my kids, they don't know who the fuck Blade is. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole generation. There's even some young adults right now that barely or don't know who Blade is.
well,
Because it was a long time ago.
well, what's irritating right now is with Marvel Comics is they keep flirting with Blade. Like they need to make a new Blade comic as soon as possible. I mean, he's in Strike Force. He's been in a couple other things, but it's like I don't think that Marvel knows what to do with him because of this new like PC era thing where they're trying to be sort of as soft as possible with like a lot of stuff, you know. And I don't like that at all. Even though they have like a whole new like species of vampires in the comics with Strike Force and some other things, and it even goes into the King in Black, you know, where Blade comes in there with vampires on his side and like fucking up shit. But it's like they're not staying true to like Blade the character, like really at all. And I don't like that. I hope it change. I hope they don't permanently like water him down because of they wanted to be PG-13. I'm like, just make a new fucking character, please. Just kill him off. I mean, make a new character.
Here's what's so fucking ironic and weird to me. Blade had not only his first movie, he had his second movie before you even saw the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Like, just putting into context, he already had a film franchise before Tobey put on them tights. So, you know, he was big fucking shit, and I give Wesley props for embracing that character and making that character into something. A lot of people didn't know who he was even from the comics. Now, the third one we don't talk about. It was certainly a bad movie, but you know, it still made a decent amount of money for its day. And again, this was I hate doing the comparison of like, oh, it didn't do MCU numbers. Motherfucker, this was 1998.
Well, and
2000.
also, listen, there would be no. I will say it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There would be no MCU had it not been for Blade.
Yeah.
Because up until Blade, there was a whole bunch of real shitty Marvel movies. That nobody talks about. The Captain Americas, the fucking who's the other
Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
Yeah, there's a bunch of terrible fucking movies.
Punisher movies.
Yeah, terrible movies.
Oh yeah.
Blade broke the mold and really brought they showed that, you know, Marvel comic book movies can be profitable in the theaters, and let's go forward. If it was not for Blade, there would not be an MCU.
I agree with you. The only thing I will say though is, I think on the Marvel side, yes. At the time though, we had seen like blockbusters for DC, with Superman and Batman already. But for Marvel, yeah, we didn't have any real big hits.
They're all trash.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Nick Fury with David Hasselhoff. David Hasselhoff made a Nick Fury movie, and it was fucking garbage. David Hasselhoff at the time this dude was bigger than shit. Like seriously, he was making pop music in Germany and selling out fucking arenas,
stadiums.
Yeah, David Hasselhoff, really? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that dude, big dick energy, international big dick.
Knight Rider shit. I mean, I'll say this again. This also, and I said it before this news was announced, I don't have any confidence that Deadpool 3 under MCU is going to truly be rated R for its theatrical release. I think one way or another, I realize what was said. It hasn't been filmed or whatever. I think one way or another, that theatrical release, like every single other MCU movie, is more than likely going to be another PG-13. I really do.
So
I'll believe it when I see it.
So Stitch isn't here, so I'm gonna echo what Stitch has said outside of the podcast, that you're willing to believe that a Blade PG-13 is gonna happen, but a rated R Deadpool 3 said by the same person who said they're gonna make this happen, but you're like, no. I believe you on this one thing, but not the other. And even today, they said they're going to continue to do a rated R Deadpool 3, but Blade will be PG-13.
Here's what I will clarify. Blade is actually, remember that big ass fucking widescreen of all the stuff that is on the schedule or whatever? Blade's already on that goddamn schedule. So it's somewhere in the queue right now. Deadpool 3, despite plenty of buzz and our Deadpool 1 and 2 proving that they could make big money being rated R, it's not on that queue. And so
You
I
have to
take
remember though, they
Go ahead.
did not fully acquire 20th Century Fox at that time.
I'm talking about the hold on. I'm talking about the most recent queue that they had at what was it, the Disney Quarterly thing at the end of 2020. This is after they had already acquired 20th Century Fox. Look on that queue. You can pull it up right now. Deadpool 3 wasn't on there, so it's a concept right now. And again, my belief, based on MCU history, is that they're probably going to do this exactly like the other MCU movies in terms of it being PG-13.
Well,
They haven't made a rated R one.
Even though the head of Marvel Studios said they're gonna make it rated R. Okay.
I don't believe. I'm literally looking you in the eye and telling you, looking into the camera and saying, I don't believe it's going to happen. I will believe it when I see it. I think you will see some type of shenanigans, maybe a director's cut released on Blu-ray that'll have the rated R version, because it's literally just editing. You know, you take out a few scenes and you can turn a movie that is rated R into a PG-13 movie.
Well, but
I think this is going to be a PG-13
Yeah,
movie.
they did it already.
Honestly, I think
Deadpool.
this has been like a paradigm shift for Marvel since they got bought by Disney. I mean, they've been going like this whole sort of software route for a while. Like remember like Marvel Max back in the day, which is where
I do remember.
which is where you get Jessica Jones and like a lot of people, some other characters got their jump off from was Marvel Max. We're not seeing things like that today, even though they had a perfect opportunity to make more adult comics. But I'm trying to think like, obviously I have a shitload of comics, and I'm trying to think of like where are all the mature Marvel like anything right now in comics, and they don't. I'm trying to think. I could be wrong. I don't think they exist right now. I mean, right now DC, they have fucking DC Black and a couple other things that are like. I mean, shit, we got to see Bruce Wayne's dick like last year.
We sure did.
So we're not seeing Captain America's dick in comics. Like they're not willing to. And
well, actually, in real life, we did.
Oh yeah. But I think that Marvel.
You saved it.
I think that Marvel needs to like. They need to grow up with like the rest of their. Even with with DC, when they have like the whole showing Batman's dick thing, they made sure that they separated out the DC Black from the regular DC universe, so that it was something that was made for adults. And I think that Marvel could do the same thing, but I think they're scared because they think that it's not going to make a lot of money. I think they're just addicted to having like a certain standard of making money. I think that eventually DC is going to overtake them as long as they start running from people like Zack Snyder and these stupid ass directors that are making nonsense movies. They need to get back to like actual substantive movies that make sense, that are edited well, and that basically have a continuity. Once you get away from that shit and start getting like some more darker stuff, I think they can start getting more market share. But right now, Marvel, they're making the vast majority of their comics they're like for kids. It's like real lightweight, saccharine shit. And I think that they need to move away. I mean, Image is doing like their own thing still to this day. They have a lot of adult content, but why isn't Marvel doing the same thing? Like, what the fuck?
So my question
for
is,
certain characters it works. Go ahead, Oldie. Sorry.
So has there been any graphic novels from like the Marvel side involving some of their tentpole characters, or no?
No. I mean, everything right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's selling. They had to do like almost like a reconstruction of their brand, right? Because they went like this whole ridiculous PC culture thing, and they did a horrible mistake when they decided. I talked about it multiple times on the podcast, but when the MCU started getting big, and the Avengers came out, when you watch the Avengers back in the day, if you'd have looked at all the characters that were in the Avengers, and you went to a comic book store and you asked for any of them in the comics, there was literally no current comic, none. If you asked for Tony Stark as Iron Man, didn't exist. It was Riri Williams. If you asked for the Hulk, he was dead, killed by Hawkeye. It was going to be Totally Awesome Hulk, which is some Asian dude. If you looked for Black Widow, didn't exist because it's Black Widow. If you want to look for who else? Thor, he was
Falcon.
gone because he was unworthy.
Was Cap.
Yeah, he was unworthy, and it was I forget the other chick's name.
Jane Foster.
Yeah, Jane Foster. Was actually that one kind of made some sense. If you looked at even like Wolverine, there was no Wolverine. He was dead. It was obviously he's not an Avenger, but he was before, but not in the MCU. That was X-23. So you had like they literally learned nothing from that whole thing, except for if we give everything to Jonathan Hickman, he can fix things and we can sell comics again. That's what they did.
Yeah.
But Jonathan Hickman, I mean, like, he was dealing with sort of the similar constraints of like, hey, we need to make things that are consumable for kids, but not for the adults. You know, not adult facing content. So he did like the whole, you know, House of X, Powers of X. We're still getting the whole X-Men thing again. But at the same time, there's some huge gaps with like their adult readers. Me obviously being one of them, where you're not putting out a lot of any adult content.
I will say this too. I agree with where you're coming from, Kronos. I think what the missing component, it's the merch. Like literally the kids' backpacks, the Target toy section,
What?
they want that merch, and it's harder to do the merch for rated R movies, and I get it, but at the same time, for certain characters, it's just appropriate. It really is. There's a big difference between Spider-Man. I always want PG-13. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Blade is a killer. You know, Punisher is a true killer.
Wolverine, yeah.
And yeah, Wolverine. I don't like. I don't want my Wolverine PG-13 anymore. I just don't. You know, Logan changed that. So, we will see what happens. We will see what happens. But you know, I know where they're coming from because I got kids. I got a son who's 10, and if he sees you know, some X-Men or some Deadpool or whatever in the Target section, you know, that's the lunchbox he's going to want. That's the fucking, you know, new Lego toy he's going to want. And if you don't have that in there to kind of go coincide with your movie, then you know, the bean counters are going to say, oh, well, you know, you're not meeting the same numbers as when we had that Avengers movie and we sold all this merch for billions.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I've been saying though, is that they're really using this unreasonable metric for all their franchises. Yeah. Like, listen, everything's not going to be the Avengers. You know, you made this certain franchise to maximize your profits, but you can't maximize your profits for every single character in every single movie. I mean, like look at Captain Marvel. That movie didn't do very well. You know, I hate to pick on her, but
it made a lot of money. But yeah.
I mean, sort of. If you look at the other MCU movies, no, it didn't.
No,
it made $1 billion.
It did. It made $1 billion.
Did it really make $1 billion?
Yeah,
it made 1.1 or something. Yeah,
it made
that's how Prodigy lost his bet.
Because it was sandwiched in between the Avengers, the last two Avengers movies. Remember?
No, I got no excuse for that. All right, well, but still, I mean, to me, it wasn't a great movie. And I don't want to, unless Rogue is in the next one, I'm probably not going to watch the next, you know, Captain Marvel. Or, you know, she's not really an interesting character to me. Yeah.
I will say, on just a side note, Rogue to me is just one of the awesomest characters. I just fucking love that character. I really do. I love everything about her. Hopefully they get the casting right whenever she is introduced, but goddamn, dude, that would be perfect. Speaking of casting, we got a blue. Well, not for casting, but we got an announcement that the Blue Beetle is finally going to actually show up, get his own fucking movie. What do you guys think about this on the DC side?
Say again?
As long as Zolo, I don't know.
Miguel.
I got you.
Yeah, Miguel from Cobra Kai. As long as he's Jaime Reyes, or that's all that matters to me. That's all that works. I mean, he's like, to me, the front runner. I mean, he's got the training from Cobra Kai. Everybody loves him. He's super popular right now. He would fit the bill. He's around the right. I mean, he's probably a little older, but I mean, in Hollywood, they always have older people play younger people, so he's perfect.
He plays a team well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's in his early 20s. I want to say, so it's perfect for him. He can commit, be a big star, and I'm all for it.
What you saying, Kronos?
I think that'd be cool too. I mean, I think he'd be a good fit if he wants to do it. You know, I think it'd be good. Blue Beetle, you talking about, right? Sorry, I missed the very beginning of this. Yeah. I could totally get on board, but you know, sometimes we don't always get what we want. I'll get into something else that's sort of on this same subject in a minute. But yeah, I mean, hopefully he wants the role. and he can commit to the role. But you know, he's a new actor, so you have no idea what he wants. You have no idea what he's like in real life. So yeah, if he can get the role, I'm down.
I'm down for it. There's no trailer, there's no teaser, you know. And then with DC, you also have to take things with a grain of salt. Remember, we've been hearing about The Rock being Black Adam for like 20 fucking years now. You know,
Yeah.
so we'll see. But I will say for Blue Beetle, get the CGI right. You know, similar in some ways to kind of like a combination between Iron Man and Venom. You know, in terms of the suit. The suit is going to make or break this movie. You know what I mean? If
Yeah,
the
pretty
Beetle,
much.
the Scarab, actually, you know, is fighting against Jaime and like transforming basically with guns and flying and shooting stuff and all that other cool stuff in a very fun way, then this could be something. Obviously, with the right actor, with the right villain, all that other good stuff.
Yeah.
There is an earlier Blue Beetle, like there's a Ted Cord.
Mhm.
You know, some of the old school Blue Beetle fans may be interested in him. Maybe you're going to have something similar to a Ant-Man vibe, you know, with Hank Pym being the older version. I don't know, but there's enough there to work with, and
Mhm.
I'm excited. This would be for live action, at least in my mind, one of the first Latinos major superheroes for live
Well,
action.
for a feature film, yeah, but I mean, we have uh God, Carlos Valdez is on the Flash as I want to say preacher, but he's not a preacher. He's you know, he was a
You
Latino.
talking TV show?
Yeah, as far as
Okay.
live action, I mean, we had that. We have him, but as far as like huge feature film, I mean, you could, I could accept the argument with Antonio Banderas as Zorro, because Zorro's a little
Okay.
old school, but
Okay.
he's still a hero. He's still
And
out there.
and I wasn't
So
he's Zorro's originally from novels or comics though.
I believe like comics
No,
is
I think it
what
was
I remember
novels.
him from.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm pretty sure
remember
it was
him from the
novels.
comics, but he might be from a novel. I know that
What were you saying,
there's
Cronus? Were you saying
I'm
novel?
pretty sure it's a novel.
Okay.
yeah. I remember him from comics, but yeah, I think he first appears in a novel. And I know that there's I guess Alan Moore had written Django and Zorro teaming up out there. I think it's a novel. I'm not sure if it's a comic. It might be adapted, so
Wait, hold on. What
I'd
the
be
fuck?
okay with that.
Zorro means fox. I did not know that.
Oh
Huh,
wow.
there you go.
It's Spanish for
So,
fox. And his a fictional character created in 1919.
oh, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
before superhero comics, but yeah.
yeah, so I would I'd be okay with it really comes down to two things. Who's going to be the voice of the Beetle? Because you need that dynamic between Jaime, him fighting the Beetle, and the Beetle trying to destroy everything and thinking that everything and everyone's a threat because it's new to Earth. And they got to have good action sequences, and the suit's got to kick ass, and it's got to be good. Now, if this is a DCEU, is going to connect with some of these other characters that are going to do cameos in the film or whatnot. We don't know, or I don't know.
Hold on.
So
be
we'll
determined.
see.
This is kind of fascinating. I'm sorry. I'm reading up on Zorro right now. Zorro debuted in John McCulley's novel *The Curse of Capistrano*, and it was serialized in 5 parts in August 9th and September 6th in 1919 in a magazine called All Star Weekly. So yeah, it was first
There
a
you go.
novel, then it was in a magazine, but it was originally meant to be a standalone tale, and then it just kind of like blew up from there. Oh, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's awesome because I mean, back in the day, there's a TV show with Zorro doing those crazy horse tricks and whatnot. So Zorro was. I know that Zorro is under. I guess it's under the Disney brand because the TV show was a Disney show back
Huh.
in the day. So should be interesting to see. But I mean, who else would be able to fit this Blue Beetle casting role that you can think of, Cronus?
I mean, there's
'Cause
probably
I can't think of nobody.
there's definitely a lot of Latino actors out there that could fill the role, but I think that right now, obviously, you should probably try to go with the one that's hottest, and like when I say hottest, not as fucking the way he looks, but as far as like his popularity,
You gonna say
the
hottest no homo or
yeah,
or
the
not?
most popular Latino actor right now that's of that same age or at least acting that age is the guy from the show we're talking about.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Cobra Kai. Sorry, it's kind of
Yeah, it's all good.
But yeah, I think he could do it. So, but you have to do it now. They'd have to like literally start now. But he still looks pretty young, so he's got some time.
He does. So we got to talk about this other casting rumor stuff. So apparently, there's been this rumor going around that with the Fantastic Four casting, they're talking about having Jennifer Lawrence
No,
fulfill the
No.
the role of Sue Storm.
no, that's a hard pass. Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence should not. No, Jennifer Lawrence should never be in another Marvel movie ever, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, she didn't want to put on the fucking paint to be Mystique. Hardly ever. This is publicly known. So fuck her couch. The fact that she wants to come back to Marvel now and play a role with less makeup and, to make that money, fuck you. Like, seriously. Like, if I'm an actor and you're willing to pay me like a decent amount of money to put on some makeup, then I'm not even putting it on myself. It's just like I'm literally sitting in a chair and someone else is putting it on me, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to sit in this all day, but I'm making millions of dollars though. Get the fuck out of here! Like, it's literally your fucking job. It's like a mom not wanting to. It's like a mom that wants to speak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's your role is not to speak.
I'm no fan of J-Law at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know the Hunger Game movies, they were big shit for their day, but since some Hunger Game movies, I haven't seen a whole lot of fucking hits for her, or people being very impressed with her, especially in the nerd space. So
Yeah.
I think there is 1,000 better actresses for Sue Storm, because Sue Storm is low-key a badass. She really is. She's actually one of the the prominent female characters from Marvel history. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And she has a great power set. And so people sleep on her. If you do the writing well, shit, Invisible Woman can be like a breakout star for years to come.
Well, especially
You
now
know.
with like her most recent, she's kind of like a spy type of deal.
I love that.
Yeah, like she had a solo comic for like a minute, and it was really good of like her being like going off on her own and like just fucking shit up. And her power set is kind of amazing. I think they kind of downplay it. In all the movies, they definitely have downplayed it because she can like. I'm going through my backlog of Captain America, the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, and with I think it's called like the Women of America or something like that, the Daughters of America or some shit like that. Sue Storm is part of the team, and she will just like block. She will use her powers to block oxygen to the brain, just knock people out. Just like, yeah, you're done. Whatever. Goodbye.
Yeah. They've always downplayed it. And here's the thing. I mean, Fox has made some crappy movies. Like, I'm not making any fucking excuses for them. But this character, I think it's more important to get her right than it is the Thing, even. And the Thing has to look right.
Well, the thing can be CGI.
Obviously Johnny does too.
Yeah. I mean, Johnny and Thing can be mainly CGI, except for like, well, less so for Johnny because Johnny has to look normal most of the time. But the Thing is just CGI, so I don't really give a fuck who plays the Thing. Just the voice matters. You know who'd be a cool voice for that though? Would be God damn it, the fuck's that guy's name? The guy who was in Fast and the Furious.
The Rock.
No, not the Rock. Pitch Black. The fuck's the guy's
Vin
name?
Diesel.
Yeah, Vin
Vin
Diesel.
Diesel.
Yeah, he's got a cool voice for like a Rocky sounding voice,
He does. The only thing I'm gonna say though is,
He's also Groot, so.
yeah, he also does that. But the only thing I'm gonna say though, I think the Thing is like ethnically Jewish. Sometimes wearing a yarmulke and all of that, and so I think that that community is going to want some representation in terms of the actor, and I can't hate on that because literally in the comics for Fantastic Four, you see him going to bar mitzvahs and you see him doing the Festival of Lights or whatever, like he does like practice. He's a practicing a Jewish superhero.
Okay. Okay. Well, actually, this gets into like another thing that I want to bring up. Are we done with it for this for now?
Yeah. Let's spin.
Yeah.
Yeah, spin it. Go
So
ahead.
somebody had asked me yesterday. There's been a recent string of white actors that have been stepping down from their roles of voicing people of color in various not comics. Obviously, they don't voice shit in comics. In various cartoons, and and he wanted to know my thoughts on that. And so I'm actually very neutral on the subject because on one hand I'm like, I like these are iconic characters, like they're being voiced by people that I recognize, and it's done in a way that is not offensive to me at all. So in that aspect, I don't really care. But at the same time, if they are uncomfortable with taking a role away from somebody that is of color or some other ethnic group, then I get that that's on them. So if they're not, as long as they're not being pushed out, from external means. And so from what I've read so far, for like the vast majority of these people, they're voluntarily being like, hey, they should go towards some other ethnic group that's more close to the ethnic group of the person that I'm voicing. But at the same time, there are iconic characters that are the exact opposite. Where like a black dude is playing a white dude. I'll give the best example ever. It's fucking Kratos. It's been voiced by two black African American men, and they do a fantastic job. And I don't think anybody really cares about that, like at all, because the job is done so well. And some of it even comes back to like, some of the some people that are of European descent. Voice acting as people that are African descent. Like I don't even have a problem with fucking Cleveland or some of these other black characters. I didn't really care. So yeah,
Samurai Jack.
Yes, it's another one. He's a black guy. It's Phil Lamar.
Yep.
Phil Lamar. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very neutral when it comes to that. So yeah, if the voice actor feels uncomfortable doing it, then yeah, I mean, give up your role to somebody else. But if you're getting like some sort of external hate, unless it's from like the actual group, you know what I mean? Like if there's a bunch of black people that are like, I've literally seen nobody. I've seen nobody in the black community get mad about the person who's voice acting Cleveland or the guy that plays the doctor in The Simpsons or anything like that. Yeah, that's one of the ones that just recently stepped down. So that's why he brought it up to me. But if nobody's complaining from that ethnic group, and he just feel uncomfortable, then yeah, it's you're right. Feel uncomfortable, then fine. But if it's just a bunch of people that are not of the ethnic group that are complaining, like, I don't really fucking care.
I'm glad you brought this up. This is a topic that goes into many different areas, but the biggest kind of aha moment for me was going back to The Simpsons with the Apu voice actor. And I think they did an entire movie where someone in the South Asian or Indian American community was highly upset. And if I'm honest, very honest, grew up in Fremont, California, with a huge Indian community and whatnot. I do remember, really racist jokes, that you would hear trying to imitate Apu and basically doing derogatory stuff towards Indian Americans, which is not cool at all.
No.
So I get that aspect of it, but he's also voiced that since what, the 80s or the 90s? It's been a long time.
Yeah, so Hank Azaria is the guy who voices Apu. And so in that instance, I think it's a little different, only because some of the other characters I was talking about, they were not playing those characters as like a quote-unquote caricature. Like they weren't stereotypical, like fucking Dr. Hibbert was not slinging rocks. I mean, he's a doctor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with
Bill Cosby, basically.
Yeah. Like it was a respectable dude, but there was a lot of things that were, super iffy today. Back in the day, probably not so much because we live in a different era where I guess it was more acceptable. But obviously, things change over time. And I've got a lot of Indian friends too that I consider family, and it's like, yeah, watching somebody do like that accent and being that way, but also at the same time, what's crazy is that I think what most people kind of forget is they actually get to learn a lot about like Indian culture through Apu, which is kind of weird. Like, remember when Lisa Simpson talked about being like a vegan, and then like you get to learn about like not eating cows and like certain other aspects of like Indian culture, and there's like a whole bunch of other shit too. But at the same time, it's like you're putting on a veneer of shininess on like a bunch of bullshit of like really racist, caricatures of a character. So yeah, I understand it from both ends.
Yeah, and the flip side kind of defensive argument I've heard just for the character Apu is some people will say, semi-rightly so, he is a small business owner.
Yeah.
He's not abusive to anybody. He's literally not doing anything illegal on the show. He's not demeaning anybody. He's a small business owner and a family guy, so quote unquote, who's an immigrant and just trying to take care of. Didn't he have like 6 or 7 fucking kids?
I think it was 8. I'm pretty sure it was 8. Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I'm not in the Indian and American community, and there were some that were very vocal. They made a whole fucking movie about how offensive they thought it was. At least, some of them.
Well, it's also, I think some of it is some of the stuff that would be considered racist. It was almost like dog whistling, I guess, to that group, or something that we might not recognize as being racist, but they would. And I think that there's some validity there. So for Apu, I can understand, but some of the other characters, just like, as a black man, I was okay with it.
No, I hear you. And a good voice actor is a good voice actor. I tell you what, those God of War games, the earlier ones,
oh my God,
and the 2018, could you imagine some random Greek accent, just
oh my God, it'd be so
weirdo guy?
Yeah, well, this is like sort of the American machismo thing, but yeah, it would not have sold well in America if you didn't have like a super. And well, actually, this is kind of fucking racist too, what I'm gonna say, but it's gonna be fucking true. Like, if you had somebody that didn't sound so fucking masculine as Kratos, you have a black guy with like this boisterous voice, this anger inside of him, that was playing this character, and yeah, I mean, Terrence, what was the guy's name? Something Terrence, the original actor's name. I literally just watched the fucking video.
Living Single.
Yeah, I forget his fucking name, but yeah, he's a great voice actor. And if you didn't have him as, I couldn't imagine some other person as being Kratos at the time. Terrence Carson. Yeah, I remember when they said that Terrence Carson was not going to voice Kratos for the 2018 God of War. I was like, fuck, am I even gonna play this game? And then when I heard Christopher Judge come out, I was like, oh, this dude fucking knocked out of the park. Like, seriously. But it's 2 different Kratoses too, though. I think that's the main thing. And even, Terrence Carson talked about it on DJ Vlad's like interview where he was talking about how, but they didn't notify him that he wasn't getting the job. But he said he understood after the fact because I think he said because Kratos was like a bigger character and he's like a little dude or something like that. And it's just like, I think as he gets older, I think it makes sense that his voice would change. But I still like Terrence did a really good job. But Christopher Judge's voice is very good given the fact that Kratos was older and as a father.
Yeah.
I think they did a fantastic job with both voice actors.
Old Ninja, what do you think on this?
I don't want to go too deep because you guys touched on a lot of stuff. But it's kind of hard when you're watching an animated show and you can't see, who the person is, or you can't be like, oh, I know that this person, is an African American. I know this person's, Caucasian American or European American, just by listening to the voice. I mean, for the longest time, nobody knew that Bart Simpson was voiced by a woman.
Yeah.
And that was a huge reveal when they did this behind the scenes thing. You're like, wait, what? Bart's a woman? And this show is still continuing with that person. Actually, no, I think they've had several different women be Bart Simpson's voice. And
nope.
Is it always been one?
Yep. Is it Nancy Cartwright or is that Lisa?
That sounds right.
I think it's Nancy Cartwright.
So I mean, there's just it's I think it's difficult as a common person unless you do. I mean, you can do your research. You can go and look and see, what the cast list is nowadays. But back then in the '80s and the '90s, you couldn't look that up. You couldn't see who was doing the voices of
Yeah,
whatnot.
that's a
And
right.
nowadays, I think it's just maybe a social issue where people were like, "Oh, this should go to this person, and this should go to that person." To me, I'm just like, well, if the actor is right for the job, then they should get the job regardless of what they look like. I mean, as long as they are able to bring that character to life. I mean, I also feel as if the world of television versus the world of video games is different. I mean, I guess there's a voice actors guild or something that's slightly distant from screen actors, maybe not, but I know a very popular, actually two very popular voice actors. One is Cree Summer, the other one's Kimberly Brooks. They've voiced a multitude of different characters, both male and female, and they're both African American women. And I have no problem with them, giving their performances like this. It's kind of weird, but I do see the other side about representation and whatnot, because like you kind of want to have people up there and being a part of huge, I guess, franchises or whatnot. So to me, it's just kind of weird because it's like if I don't see who's behind the voice, I kind of don't care. All I care about is the performance. If you give me a good performance, then that's great.
This is the very strange thing when it comes to like actors, voice actors, and like other actors, is that listen, nobody complains when you have somebody that is physically acting a character that they aren't. That's the whole thing about acting. You're fucking playing pretend. All right, you're gonna tell me that Denzel Washington was a crooked cop? No, the fuck he wasn't. You don't have a problem with that, right? So why the fuck do you have a problem with, this is where it gets into like the sort of like the gray area. But it's like, to me, it gets back into like they're all just playing pretend. All of them are playing pretend. And I think that we put way too much stock into how much we're willing to believe in them playing pretend. Because like I said, like all these black actors that you're seeing on TV and movies and shit like that are playing these gangster ass roles, they ain't fucking gang. The vast, maybe 1% of them were actually gangsters in their life. Maybe that's fucking being generous.
Yeah, I will say it would be. I mean, we've all heard the complaints. Obviously nobody wants to be typecasted just because you're a black male actor.
Yeah.
Sure. You got to be a pimp. You got to be a gangster. I get that. And even if you were Indian American, not so much, not as much now, but you certainly wouldn't want to always be a convenience store, clerk or a goddamn taxi driver. I get it. But really quickly too, when we're talking about voice acting, shout out to again Regina King on goddamn Boondocks. Holy fuck, she killed that shit.
Another one
playing Riley and fucking Huey. Holy fuck.
Exactly, another African American woman playing two male characters. I mean, it happens a lot. I mean, Kimberly Brooks, she plays, I believe, I don't know if this character is Latina, but in Mass Effect, she's the voice of Ashley Williams. And she's an African American woman. She's also, if you watch the DC Superhero Girls, she's the voice of Bumblebee. But she's done like hundreds of different voices, male and female. Cree Summer, obviously, she's all over the place. She's done male, female, and it's about the performance for me. If you're gonna bring out something cool, quick side note, while we're talking about animated stuff, Blue's pick. Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons is on HBO Max.
Nice.
So I can finally watch that shit.
Yeah.
And that's another one. I mean, Michael Chiklis is the voice of Deathstroke, and it's not like I was like, oh, Deathstroke needs to be, because I don't really know Deathstroke's ethnicity, but is it really
white guy?
Is he? Sometimes people may think that he's Latino, so I don't know.
Slade Wilson. Yeah. No.
Still, I don't know. I mean, is it really? Do we have to have like each character that be represented by their ethnicity behind the scenes, or do we want the performance? Does that matter? What matters more, representation or the performance? That's what it comes down to for me. So
let's switch it up just a little bit. Like going back to movies a little bit, we do have, I guess, an official Spidey 3 name now after a whole lot of back and forth and a whole lot of internet memes and shit. I guess it's going to be. Do I have it right? Is it No Way Home? Is that the official, or is that another fake?
I guess I still think it's a fake. I mean, I think everyone's just. I think by as it gets closer to release date, it'll be like it'll be boom Spider-Verse, and everyone's like, oh shit, like this whole like home trilogy shit. I mean, I guess it follows through, and yes, you could say through the title that No Way Home could mean that he's lost in the Spider-Verse, but we shall see. I mean,
it's speculation.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. I still think it's a fake out. I still think the name will probably change, and which they can. I mean, we've been told stuff before, and it turns out to be flipped or whatnot. Usually not with titles, but
fucking Kathy Yan in DC literally changed the name of Birds of Prey while it was already in theaters.
True. I mean, the same thing happened with Edge of Tomorrow. The name of the movie changed when it was in theaters as well. So it could. I wouldn't be surprised. Like literally a month before, all of a sudden the name is changed and whatnot. So, or even before then. So I feel like this is a fake out.
Kronos, do you think that the internet leak of No Way Home for Spidey 3 is legit, or is this another fake out?
I mean, listen, I didn't even watch the last Spider-Man movie, to be honest with you. So, I'm not. It's not top of my list.
Yeah.
So when it comes out, I might watch it. I probably won't have to watch the last one, I guess. But I mean, it's just, the first Spider-Man, the most recent one, I didn't like because it was way too much fucking Iron Man. I think they disrespected the character. I think that having Aunt May be hot was fucking weird as shit. Doing a whole reboot of Spider-Man was fucking weird as shit too. I don't understand why they keep rebooting this franchise over and over again with half-ass attempts. So hopefully they learn something. I don't fucking know.
They ain't learning shit. They're gonna cash some checks.
Yeah, I mean they're making a lot of money, just not for me. So you rest of y'all watch it. Go ahead, have fun.
Look, I wish I didn't. I really didn't like Far From Home. I didn't like Homecoming all that much either. It was just kind of middle of the road, pretty forgettable for me. But you know, some people eat them up. You know, obviously that's totally okay. I'm not completely dissing it. It's not the worst thing I've ever fucking seen, but it is what it is.
Man, I wish Stitch was here with them receipts though.
Yeah, it wasn't Justice League. I'll tell you that. Just saying.
Yeah, that's for sure.
God damn. No, it was better than that. Did y'all see this premiere? It is on CW, so take everything with a grain of salt. But did y'all see the Superman and Lois premiere?
No, I saw.
No,
I
was going to beforehand. Oh,
go ahead.
No.
So, okay, so that's a no for both. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to wait because I think Blue watched it, and so I wanted to get his thoughts.
Yeah, I'm curious about Blue's thoughts as well. I literally just watched it before the cast. It ain't bad. It's not what I'm not gonna spoil anything because I do want you guys to see it, but it's not what you think a Superman show is going to be. There's whole new characters and dynamics going on here that aren't typically part of Superman canon at all. Like, he has a this is in the trailer. He has a family, full-on family, and so, and yes, I know he's had Superboy and whatnot, but he has multiple kids. So, a lot going on there. I thought it was a decent pilot. I got used to his face. Obviously, he's not Henry Cavill. He's not Christopher Reeves, you know. But the graphics, the CGI and graphics in there, they're not movie quality, but they're way up there. You know, they're high for the CW. And I'll say that the writing was on point. You know, there's going to be points in it where you, as just someone who follows comics, you're going to point and go like, oh, okay, I see what you did there. I see that Easter egg for what it is. And I think you'll care about the characters, the Superman family in this.
So did you watch the 2-hour premiere or just the first hour?
I watched the first hour because it looks like second hour is more of a sneak peek behind the scenes kind of preview for season two, or I'm sorry, episode two, with a lot of like interviews and shit. It didn't seem like that was a second episode.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, but here's what I'll say. For me, this was a solid like 7.8, 7.9, like maybe even an 8.0. It was a pretty good. It was a pretty good pilot. It's worth seeing. Nowhere near as bad as like Batwoman or anything like that. And I would put it below like the Flash pilot for CW quality, but it's a little bit better than the Arrow pilot way back in the day.
Yeah, this show's been getting a lot of buzz, so a lot of people have been talking about it. They've been trying to promote the hell out of it. A lot of people said, like, basically what you were saying, like, this is a different take on Superman, but yet they want to respect the lore type thing. So, and they're pushing, like, there's some things that happen to the family that are kind of, like, bleak, and from what I understand, and they have to make an adjustment. So I'm like, oh, this ought to be interesting. So, and I guess the villain is new, but I guess the villain is supposed to be a huge surprise, and you're not going to know until midway through the season. So I'm really interested in seeing it. I was hoping to watch it before the cast. I didn't get a chance to, but I do want to see this.
And I did. The only one that I really watched for Superman live action TV, I did watch the Dean Cain back in the day with fine ass. What's her name?
Terry Hatcher.
Yeah. Terry fucking Hatcher. Man, for a thin chick, like she wasn't super thick, but God, in her day, she was bad as fuck.
You know that Terry Hatcher shows up on Supergirl, right?
I didn't know that. Yeah, she's on reoccurring?
No, she's in a story arc, so she's in like 3 or 4 episodes as a villain.
Nice. In
like form-fitting uniform.
Nice.
So, I was like, oh.
And I never watched Smallville, although that was on for like 100 fucking years. But
yeah, it's like 12 seasons.
That was a great show. I didn't finish up the whole series, but I watched at least half of it, probably more, and it was really good.
That's what I hear is one of the better ones. So maybe I'll go back if it's on HBO Max or something.
Yeah. Plus,
check this one out.
Lana Lang was hot as fuck. I forget her fucking name, but goddamn, she was bad.
Oh, Kristen Curick.
Yeah, damn.
I think the common theme here is you need a hot fucking Lois Lane.
Yeah,
you really do. Like, and I'm it's no shade to
she wasn't Lois Lane though.
In the new
she's
one.
not Lois Lane. She's Lana Lang.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
But you need a hot girlfriend for Clark.
I mean, Lois Lane was pretty hot too, but I think that Lana was hotter, like by a lot. So
now, wasn't her ethnicity mixed like white and Asian, or am I tripping?
I think she was either white and Asian or maybe some native. I don't fucking know, but she was bad as fuck. That's all I knew.
I remember everyone kept talking about Kristen Curick from back then, but it is what it is. I mean.
Yeah, that is her. That is her. Yeah. I thought I had her name wrong, but yeah, I was right. Yeah.
So it's fine.
Yep, and she's still.
But yeah, I'm kind of hyped for this Superman stuff. So.
Yeah, the other thing is, I mean, I still have no fucking clue if we're ever going to get a Man of Steel 2 or what the fuck they're doing with Superman from a movie standpoint. So it was interesting because I always thought with the CW. The trilogy, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, were quote unquote too big for CW, but that's all out the window.
Yeah, I mean, holy shit. Fun fact, Kristen Curick played Chun-Li.
Yeah.
In the
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li. Yeah, with Michael Clark Duncan and a couple other folks up in there. It's hilarious.
See this bad girl.
She's still bad as fuck, though. I'm just saying.
She's still bad. Yeah. That's hilarious. I've seen this movie, by the way.
You said Curick? How do I spell that last name again?
Kreuk.
Yeah. She's Dutch and she's multi-ethnic.
Yeah.
100% hot.
Look at them. Yeah, look at them eyes. Yeah. She got the fucking look, man.
Yeah. Shit. I don't know why she's not getting work right now. Probably because of playing Chun-Li. But it's all good. I'll forgive you.
She was doing work up until 2016.
Yeah, when you say work
though.
When you say work though. Like what do you?
I mean, she was in the TV series. That's work.
Okay. I mean, Was she starring? Was she?
Yeah, she was in the Beauty and the Beast show on the CW. So she was.
Show, but all right.
Yeah, I remember this show.
That was up until that was like fucking 5 years ago, man.
There you
I
go.
think you said 2016, right?
Yeah,
2016 is when it ended. The show started in 2012 and ended in 2016.
Yeah, that's 5 years ago. That's a while ago for like an actor. Since then,
and maybe she's having a family. I'll give her, you know, who knows?
No, I mean,
she needed a break.
I would like to see her in more shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's what I'm saying. I don't want people to make the mistake of saying that she should never work again. I think she should work again, and I'm just curious on why she is not getting that many roles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very odd to me.
No,
I'm trying to remember her acting. It was not bad. Maybe she was one of the ones that kicked good old Harvey Weinstein in his dick. Maybe that's why she's not getting roles.
Oh, okay. So she's on a show that none of us watch. She's on a show called Burden of Truth, which is currently airing. So she's working right now. So there you go.
Maybe I'll start looking at that show.
Well,
she's in Watch Dogs Legion as Caitlin Liao.
Oh, nice. That's a big project. AAA.
There you go.
Good shit. Y'all see the Crunchyroll Awards?
No,
I didn't see
I
all
had
of them.
you posting all that stuff, so I was like keeping track of that feed. It's like a huge video that shows like every single nominee.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the big winners, this Jujutsu Kaisen, like that took home Anime of the Year. It was definitely on the Golden Eggplant Awards. I like the show. I'm a little bit behind, but I know some people that like swear by it, like in terms of it getting better and better. But I'm not surprised that it won. You know, Crunchyroll was certainly not going to give it to my favorite interspecies reviewers, but that's okay. Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen. Have y'all even started that one? Or
I barely watched.
I have not.
I watched like 5 minutes of the first episode and I kind of put it down. Maybe I should go back. I only have so
It's
much time
solid.
today. So yeah, I think it's at the same time I was starting to watch it is when Attack on Titan came back and I was like, well, Attack on Titan won, so you know, Gabby's got to fucking die. I'm just saying. I've never wanted a child to die more than in this goddamn show. Like seriously, this bitch's got to fucking die. Like she's got no remorse. She's totally wrong. It's like it's like watching a show when a Nazi is trying to convince you that the Jews did everything. Yep. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, why is this bitch still alive? Why aren't they murdering her? Like, dude.
When she's calling people devils and your whole people are guilty of this, and I'm just like, the cringe. And Falco's sitting here like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Yeah. Why don't you shut the fuck up? These people are trying to help us. They didn't do it. This woman is complaining about the fact that her mother got killed by Titans years ago, and we know why. And here you are being a fucking cunt, you know what I mean, to this person who's grieving her lost mother. You know,
I'm thinking about Falco. He's like, why the fuck did I hang on to this bitch? Like, I'd have been fine. I'd have been fine back in Marley. Like, why the fuck did I have to hang on to this? Like, I'm not getting no pussy. She ain't giving me a kid. Not even a goddamn hug. She's so angry. Like, why is she so angry?
She's trying to shank somebody in broad daylight with a pitchfork. And I was like, what are you doing?
Somebody that helped them, that fed and housed them. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this person? Honestly, she's like these fucking Trumpists that are so crazy right now. It's like, oh, I'll eat up all your shit, massa. Like, you tell me, okay, they all devils. Okay, I got you. Like, what the fuck?
It's worst spy ever. Yeah. Like, she can't spy for shit.
No.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, honestly, it would be nice only because she's a child that she realizes that what she's doing is wrong. But I mean, she's murdered people too. Like now, it's 2 people on her fucking body count, at least 2. And they were innocent. One was definitely innocent. The other one was defending themselves from. That's what she doesn't understand. Sorry, I had a burp. She doesn't really get that Reiner came to an island and massacred a bunch of people,
Yep.
and she doesn't believe that it's true. But it's like it happened. You know, like it's like saying that America didn't drop nuclear bombs on fucking Japan. That's literally what Reiner did. He just came through. Was like, oh, that's a nice wall you got there. Here's some Titans, bitch. And that's what started all this shit. But she doesn't get that. That's what started it. But I hope she does someday. But yeah, she's definitely like an unexpected villain in this show. I like I said, I never expected to hate a child so much in my entire goddamn life.
But you know what I love though? It actually is a really good example of just how powerful propaganda can be. Because like she's entirely indoctrinated in the propaganda that she's heard throughout her schooling and her education over there, in terms of these people are devils, these people aren't human, these people all deserve to die. And even when, you know, someone's feeding her, she's just like, fuck you, I'm going to take this pitchfork to your fucking face, you know?
Yeah. It's
Ninja, are you current? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm not. But y'all, I'm been in and out because I'm in the chat, so
okay.
I'm behind by one episode. The episode y'all are talking about, but so far I haven't like caught on to what y'all are talking about. But I plan on watching it in the next couple days.
It's just amazing how there's parallels to Attack on Titan and America right now. And I know it wasn't set up that way because obviously it's a fucking manga that's adapted to an anime. But the fact that, you know, on January 6th we had people that were basically Gabbies running up on, you know, the state capitol building, and it's crazy to me. That's how I see them, like as these people that are basically mentally children that ate up all this propaganda, and they cannot be convinced that they are wrong, and they're going to pay the price for it. Probably not Gabby's price, but maybe they should. No, I'm not gonna say it.
we don't know where things are going on this show. The other thing that's kind of hard for me is I don't know if I know this is the final season, but I don't know where we are in the final season. Like, are we midway through, or are we still at the beginning? I don't know how long this is going to be.
I believe we're midway through because we're supposed to get 20 some odd episodes.
Okay.
Well,
actually, no. We're on, what is it, episode 8 or 9 now?
I think so. This season is kind of odd though, because it's very hit or miss for me, because some of it is like it's action packed, and other times it's just like they're not making it clear when they're going back and forth through time, and I don't like that because I don't consider myself stupid, but sometimes I don't realize when they're going back and forth in time, and I'm just like, what is going on here?
Yeah. The time jumps are jarring at times. I will admit that. And sometimes, like, you can tell when someone's like visibly older or younger, but sometimes they've only gone back and forth in time like a year or two, and they pretty much, the characters look the same. You know?
Yeah. It's especially in like the beginning of the season, when like I didn't realize that so much time had passed between the seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know if I missed something in the very beginning of this. Maybe somebody call me stupid right now. It's fine. I'll take the hit. But in the very beginning of the season, I didn't realize it was like 4 years later.
It's like 5 years later. Yeah, because I guess they explicitly state, and like that whole time, if you go back, Aaron's in your face, like, because he's in that the hospital. He's all busted, and like he's unrecognizable to me. And I'm like, what the hell? And then when Reiner sees him, I think that was the effect that they were going for. Like, you weren't supposed to know who he was until Reiner sees him. So I was like, oh, shit. So, yeah. But then later on, after the whole battle, there's, like, weird, like, time jumps. I'm like, well, where the hell is this at? Like, they go back in time, then they jump forward, and they go back. And then sometimes it's, like, a couple months. Sometimes it's, like, 2-3 years, and I'm like, well, where the fuck? What's going on? Like, I can't tell if we're in the past or if we're actually moving the story forward. But
I bet you
we'll find out.
If somebody in Japan's listening to this, that they, you know,
are laughing at us.
Speak Japanese and English. They're just like, you stupid fucking Americans. You don't even know. It's very obvious to us. Maybe it's lost in translation. I don't fucking know. Or maybe I'm just stupid. I'm fucking. But
nah,
yeah,
there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and then there are episodes where, like, they're 10 out of 10 action. You know, like the fight with Aaron and all the stuff with the siege and all of that. And then there's episodes where it's literally all just kind of deposition and dialogue, and a little bit of backstory, you know, and time skips. So, but I still love it. You know, I'm gonna watch every fucking, I guess, Sunday. You know?
I'm definitely enjoying it. Yeah.
It's funny to me that because I thought they were in the past when they were talking about Annie again. I'm like, dude, no one's brought up Annie in like 2-3 years now. Now they're talking about her, and then they show her still encased. So I was like, is this the past? And then you see that it's like current. I'm like, what the hell? She's been in that thing for years. Like, what the hell?
The other thing, maybe I'm again like just not paying close enough attention, or I need to start watching the show from the very beginning. Has Misaka always worn that thing around her wrist, and I just haven't seen it?
She always wears long sleeve shirts usually.
Yeah,
okay.
That too. But there's a scene in the first season where she talks about it because a friend of mine, she's like super Mikasa fan, and she was waiting for when there was going to be this reveal. So, yeah, she's always had it.
Okay. Look, I need to probably watch it from the very beginning and then all the way to current. And I'm willing to do it. I like this show that fucking much.
You know what I love about Mikasa as a character? I like how low key that the Japanese were like, look how much better we are than these white people by having the one Japanese person be like super OP. Her and the other guy, Levi. I think he's part Japanese too, right? Yeah, just like look how OP these people are compared to like the rest of these people.
My favorite thing with Levi is, and you see it so much more in this season, he's goddamn short. Everybody tower. The girls who are his same age tower over that motherfucker, and he's just like, y'all gonna put respect on my name. I'm fucking Captain Levi.
Well, he makes fun of him too. He's like, why you keep growing?
Dude, I guess it was 2 weeks ago though, but that one where they fucking asked the black guy, like, why are you black? I fucking hollered. Like, that was the funniest. I wasn't expecting that for shit. That got me. I fucking spit out my drink.
Well, I loved his answer.
Made you spill your yak?
Well, I loved his answer, and this is why one of the things when people bring up black people in anime and manga, and some people are offended by our caricatures in those medias, right? Or in those media forms, is that first of all, I think that if you're American, we put a lot of things through racist lenses because in America we live in like a country that has a super racist history. When you go to Japan, they don't have those same like racist norms like there. Like, yeah, they probably have some racist shit too, don't get me wrong. Like, especially when it comes to Koreans and Chinese people and stuff like that. Yeah, but when it comes to like, you know, people from Africa, like they're not around a lot of them. So when they, you know, do some sort of these like caricature things, some people see them as like disrespect, but sometimes they also just like for me it's like it's a lot of ignorance, but also sometimes they put like a lot of respect into like those characters that they don't really need to do. Like, they don't need to put like any black characters in any of their fucking media at all, but they decide to because they know that, which the rest of the world knows, is that people from African descent, we have a lot to do with like worldwide culture. And like a lot of Asian cultures, they, you know, get a lot of their cultural things from African culture. And but when you see it as an American, you're just like, oh, they're just fucking racist. But then going back to Attack on Titan, when he said like, oh, you know, God basically saw that, you know, everybody looks the same, so why not have somebody of like a different color? That's basically what he said in like a long-winded form. But it's like super respectful. And it was like normalized. Like, nobody saw him as like different, like at all. They just want to know why he was darker. And I think that's like, they didn't try to enslave the guy, you know.
No.
They didn't try to sandpaper his skin off.
Yeah,
it was a cool scene. It just, for whatever reason, I just wasn't expecting it. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I loved it.
But it was cool. But to me, I'm never going to get over, I know I've mentioned it a million times on this show, But when I was watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind, that Part 5 one, and they were doing their outros. This is like the second outro. And I'm just watching it, enjoying it. And all of a sudden, these motherfuckers bust out Jodeci freaking you, and I fucking died. I was like, holy shit. You talk about a shout out to literally Black American fans.
Yeah.
That was a big one. I was like, God damn, that is not an act that you know, everybody is like familiar with in like modern times. You know what I mean? Like 2020, 2019 or whatever. That's like a early 90s big R&B hit, you know? And JoJo Araki, JoJo writer Araki was just like, no, we're putting this shit in there. And I was like, thank you. That was cool.
Yeah, even like in Naruto with fuck, I forget his goddamn name now.
B?
Yeah, Killer B. I fucking love that character. Like, honestly, when he was rapping and shit, I was like, yeah, I mean, he's rapping, but at the same time, he was such a he was literally like the #2 badass in the show for a minute. Like, cause they hyped up Sasuke so bad, and this dude is literally writing rhymes, whooping his ass. I was just like, what the fuck? And they had an entire village full of black people that were all badasses.
Yes. I love that. And you and Blue got me on watching Naruto. He was awesome. He was a breath of fresh air. He was hilarious. Nothing was lost in translation. His whole clan was just, they were fucking fun. They were cool as shit, you know? So, yeah, when you see it and it's done well, it's awesome. And then even with your boy Watanabe with Michiko and Hatchin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michiko and Hatchin and Carol and Tuesday on Netflix.
That's a
great
too. That's a great show. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they do it well. You know? Gotta give props. All right, guys. Should we do we have any B's and B's, or should we wrap it?
Somebody asked, I think Matt had a question.
He did. He had a question. He asked, who would we cast as Sue Storm in the upcoming Fantastic Four?
Ooh, that's a good one. Y'all, go ahead, old man.
What age? I mean, I guess how old would she be? Because for some reason, fuck, that didn't work. I just thought about it. Never mind.
I already know who I'd cast. Old girl, Erin Moriarty from The Boys, the Starlight.
Okay.
I'd have her as Sue Storm, hands down, or at least front runner. I know there's some people saying Charlize, which should be Sue Storm. I'm like, I don't know. It depends on what storyline they're gonna do or whatnot. So, but my front runner would be Erin Moriarty.
I'm gonna say, I don't have her fucking name, of course, but remember the cheerleader from Heroes?
Oh,
Hayden Panettiere?
She's a little short, don't get me wrong, but I really liked her. She was so fucking cool on Heroes. I haven't seen her, you know, in some years, but maybe her off the top of my head.
Yeah, Hayden Panettiere, she's a pretty bad one.
Oh, god damn it, hold on. Give me a second. Natalie Dormer. That's who I'd want, because she's hot as shit. I'm just saying, I think she would play a really good Sue Storm. Anything she's in, I like it because she's beautiful. And she's a good actor.
About from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I mean, she's been in way more than Game of Thrones, but yeah, she's a good actor, a good actress, and I think she has the Sue Storm sort of look. I mean, she's blonde, so
it's good casting. I like it. All right.
And I think she could do like the whole smirking thing of like while choking somebody out with invisible things.
Hell yeah. All right. Old Ninja, what you got popping this week, goddammit?
I'm trying to, well, I got to do my civic duty tomorrow, which is going to put a little bit of damper on some stuff, but...
You mean you got to play Call of Duty? What are you talking about?
No, civic duty, not Call of Duty. I haven't played Call of Duty actually a little bit because people keep not showing up to lobbies, but it's a whole nother conversation. So I'm gonna be out doing some civic duty stuff. It's been warm here in the Bay, which is super weird to me because like Texas is frozen over, and we're sitting here.
Not now. It's way warmer. It's like in the 80s now.
Yeah, but I mean it's still weird to me because it's been warm here too. But I might go to the beach this weekend. We'll see. A lot of places in the Bay are starting to open up at like 25%, depending on the county that you're in. So we'll see what's going on with that. I definitely want to see this the Superman on the CW, or Superman and Lois. I'm on the last episode of Warrior, so I'm gonna finish that up, and then I'm gonna start The Kingdom, which is. Have you guys seen this show on Netflix?
No.
It's basically about zombies during feudal Japan, and so like they're doing their whole war thing, and then like their dead bodies start to reanimate, and so they don't know what to do, and there's a bunch of stuff, and it's got like I think 2 seasons because it's a TV series. So I'm planning on checking this out. It's been recommended to me. I'm playing a lot more Destiny because a friend of mine got it on Game Pass on the Xbox, so it's basically like free with all the DLC. What else was I doing? Yeah, just doing some of the gaming, watching Superman, finishing Warriors, and that's kind of about it.
All right. Cronus, what you got?
So there was one more B than BTI in the chat. It's from Matt. And he was asking, how hot should my wing sauce be on these wings I'm about to kill? And should I temper with ranch or blue cheese dressing?
Blue cheese. Blue cheese, god dang it.
Yeah, so
wait, hold on.
Who's
the
comedian?
Classic wings, yes. Bone in.
Well, I mean, it's Matt, so probably bone in, yeah.
Okay, about to say. Woo. Woo. Yeah, blue cheese.
So
hot wings.
I think the perfect heat for like anything, would be like if the top of your head starts sweating a little bit.
Mhm.
That's where it should stop. All right. Anything more than that is too much. But that's obviously it's very subjective when the top of your head starts to sweat. But once you start getting like more uncomfortable than that, I think it's too hot, and I think it's no longer an enjoyable experience for flavors and everything else, and just like eating in general. Just like it becomes torture. And as far as like how should you temper it, I don't like blue cheese. But I forget the guy's fucking name. It's a comedian who's one of Joe Rogan's guys, and I forget his fucking name. But he has a whole thing on it should be blue cheese. But I can't stand blue cheese. But that is the normal way to go, is blue cheese. Because to me, blue cheese tastes like paste and mold. So
I mean, cheese is moldy milk, isn't it?
no, it's not moldy milk. It's just milk.
Mm.
Well, you're talking about cheese in general? No, cheese is not moldy. I mean, it has enzymes and shit, but it's not moldy. It's not all fucking furry and shit and green. Blue cheese is. Blue cheese is literally furry and green with paste. It's fucking disgusting. Like I can't stand
So
blue
good,
cheese.
then.
Y'all that enjoy it, keep on enjoying it. Please enjoy it. It's not just like pickles. Shit ain't for me. All right, fuck pickles. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot you hate pickles.
That's my answer. Well, I don't like vinegar in general, because it's disgusting. Anyway, for me, I installed a new bidet last week. I know we talked. I'm sorry, this week. I know we talked about the bidet thing last week, but my new bidet is fucking awesome. It is it's really good. Let me just say, it cleans everything. There's a massage function. It dries my ass. Yeah. First of all, okay. So what? The seat heats. It lights up the goddamn toilet. It has 2 different nozzles to clean my ass and for K-Mac her lady bits. It warms the water. There's a massage function for the fucking spray nozzle. You can adjust the spray nozzle. Future. It fucking deodorizes when I take a shit. It literally sucks up the fucking stinky poop smell as I'm shitting. I'm just saying, but it does not play music. I'm sorry, Prodigy. I know you're asking. It does not play fucking music. All right, so I'm not that high tech, but holy shit, just sitting there pressing buttons to clean my asshole and then drying my ass is just like I'm in the future, y'all. It's a fucking 3 seashells. That's what I got. It's 3 seashells. Like I'm not wiping my ass is a thing of the past, apparently. So
Dingleberries are so 2014, like
For
dang.
real. Like, this is like hygiene to the next level. So anybody out there, if you are thinking about getting a bidet, like, invest some money in a bidet toilet seat. All right, because this is the I'm gonna just drop some knowledge on y'all right now. Okay, so Kamek bought me a Tushy toilet seat, which is like the more Americanized one. That's sort of, it's a very economical option to get. Which, if you're fine with like cold water on your ass, this should work for you, I guess. But to make it warm water, you have to run like a whole nother water line that's from your hot water from your probably your sink, which can be a pain in the ass, which I did. But these new all-in-one toilet seats, you can run that. You use the actual water that goes into your toilet, into the tank, and you tee it off, and it literally warms inside the fucking toilet seat.
Nice.
So, like, you're good to go. Like, it's all in one solution. It's fucking great. I don't know why America is like, they don't get the whole bidet thing, but it's, if I shit on your arm and you wiped off with toilet paper, you would think that's still gross, right? You'd probably wash your fucking arm. So why aren't we washing our asses?
Clearly,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
we like dirtiness.
Yeah, I'm just, and it saves on toilet paper too. So yeah, at most it's like one wipe if there's like my ass might be still wet. That's about it. So yeah, but days are awesome. That's all I got. I'm looking forward to Outriders after midnight, I guess. So yeah.
Good shit.
Oh shit.
Matt, whatever wings you make, I will. If they're too hot, I'll look like Idris Elba trying to eat them hot ass wings, choking and shit. But yeah, I don't really go for the crazy hot. I like, my favorite is like the lemon pepper or lemon pepper wet or whatever, with just a little bit of spice. And I prefer ranch over blue cheese, but you know, it is what it is. I'm down for whatever. Shout out to my boy Ivy. He knows who he is on Twitter. Hopefully by next week I might be in the the upper echelon playing next gen or current gen.
Oh shit!
You know, trading in my 2600. Hopefully. We'll see.
Shit.
Yeah, and then the only other thing I was gonna say is just try and I need to get back into some goddamn gaming, like with Star Wars Squadrons and finish up Final Fantasy and all that.
Have you played Control yet?
I haven't. I did download it, and I do. I was planning on starting it. I might try that tomorrow.
It keeps getting fucking more and more weird, but it's still enjoyable. So this is what fucked me up today. All right, so I got to like a boss level, and I got fucked up, and this is embarrassing. At least 8 times in a row, I was just getting brutally murdered. I was like, I'm just gonna put it down. That's what you do as an adult. Yeah. You don't get mad. You don't throw shit. You just put it down because you know you paid money for it. You paid money for it. Put my shit down. A couple days later, I come back and I fucking destroy everything in the room. I'm just like, why? Like, seriously, why?
Yeah, you're in a different headspace.
Yeah,
a better headspace to play.
Yeah, that was me with one of the bosses. Actually, because he was an optional boss, I guess, I just left and I ended up finishing the game. But when you beat the game, you're able to go back because I'm more powerful now, and now I can wreck completely that boss. So
yeah, I will definitely dip my toe in on that because I've just been a little bit out of gaming or whatever. I really want, I want this new console to get here, but we shall see. Take us on out, old ninja. God damn it.
All right, you just experienced the dankest podcast on the internet. We are Black and Black Times Infinity.
Kidding me?
Check us out every Wednesday night, 8:30 Pacific time. For everybody out there, you can see us and check us out anywhere on the internet with BThanBTI. That's BTHANBTI. I know on YouTube, if you type in Black and Black Times Infinity, it will come up. It's a little easier, but BThanBTI, you'll see some of our content as well. You can listen to us anywhere you can listen to podcasts. We also have a Discord out. Check out our official website, benhatproductions.com/BThanBTI. On Amazon, we have an app on there to let you know when we go live. Use your favorite app to listen to us with BThanBTI anywhere. And then on Apple Podcasts now, I keep saying iTunes, but on Apple Podcasts, go on there, rate us, leave us a comment. We'll probably respond. Sure.
Yeah, we need to probably check that out.
Yeah, it's probably like a whole novel by now.
I'm too busy listening to Daft Punk stuff.
Also, check out Balance Exchange. We've been dropping episodes every week for the past 4 weeks. So yeah, check them out. They're good conversations.
No, and did I mention we have a Discord? I think I did.
The Discord's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Real good discussions in there. I'm going to be dropping some links for Redo the Healer on there.
Oh my god.
Uncensored.
But censored.
Clay the bartender couldn't handle it. I don't think he ain't speaking to me no more. Like, man, I don't know what kind of nastiness Prodigy done hooked me up with. That's what he's saying.
All right,
you should
y'all.
be used to that by now.